Holy shit.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Do you ever have one of those moments where you think, how the hell did I get here? Jeez, what happened to me? I was ruling the galaxy, had a cherry new battle station. I mean, this place had an omelet bar, a straight-up omelet bar. And now look, my former interns tossing me down a bottomless freaking pit. You know, come to think of it, my whole life has been a series of what the moments. That was my out.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I looked my woman in the eye sockets. I told her straight out. I just said it, man. I said it. I said, bitch, I'm the man of the house.
You said bitch, though. You called your wife a bitch.
Yeah.
What is this Facebook Live? I've never heard of this shit.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
Woo, man! Welcome to WTFNationRadio.com's Monday edition with me, Ice, Flash, and shotgunning with us in the turret, Spurs, and of course, Mama. Broadcasting live from this Functional Veteran Center of Excellence this 5 February 2018. Goddamn! Go Eagles!
I won't go that far to say go Eagles, but it was an awesome Super Bowl.
What are you talking about?
The Giants fan in me just will not allow that. But I will say that apparently the only division that knows how to take on Tom Brady is the NFC East. Giants 2 times, and now the Philadelphia Eagles once. And I believe Philadelphia is burnt to the ground. So congratulations, Philly, for being crazy after you won your first Super Bowl.
Well, the Ritz
kind of cute.
Yeah, I'm about to say the Ritz-Carlton, the awning in front of the fucking Ritz-Carlton got collapsed under the weight of individuals jumping up and down on it. So, hey, good on you, Philadelphia. Fuck yeah. I mean, Tom Brady, sorry, dude. It took 2 second-string guys to beat your ass, but I'm just saying. That last play, the pass to the pass and then another pass, both second-string quarterbacks. Matter of fact, the tight end that was drafted as a quarterback from FSU, but he ended up being a tight end.
I won't lie, though. You know how many times Tom Brady has done one of those and chucked it for everyone to grab, and somehow his team comes away with it?
Yes.
Like, it went up, and I was like, well, this is about to be the end of the game, or at least about to be, going to overtime, because Tom Brady, I mean, somehow, some way, the Patriots always find a way. But, I mean, Tom Brady had a great game. Like, I can't even, like, as a Giants fan, I hate Tom Brady. As a football fan, I hate Tom Brady. As a real football fan,
you hate
Tom Brady is one of the greatest quarterbacks in my generation that I'm probably ever going to see. I mean, the man threw for 505 yards, 3 touchdowns, and where it was 28 for 48. It's pretty damn spectacular. I mean, you can knock him all you want. He didn't really get much referee help in this game. I think the refs did great. I think there was more calls that were missed.
Yes.
For the Philadelphia than against them.
Correct.
So it was a very, and maybe the mentality was, let them play. And the ones that got called on Philly were pretty blatant. Like the one big hold where he literally had him by his neck. But Gronkowski is really good at selling those plays, so it kind of goes to help him that Gronk has a kind of a drama degree going on. But on the other side of the ball, Nick Foles, 373 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. You can give the one thing I don't have here. Tom Brady did have that fumble, the really key fumble to this whole bad boy that changed everything. This was one of the highest scoring games and one of the highest yards
exactly over 1,000
in history.
Yeah,
it was
over 1,000.
Pretty damn spectacular.
You were saying, Spurs? I'm sorry, we were overlapping your shit. You're like, my bad. Jump in there. What's up?
I think Brady had 7 records broken last night. I mean, and I am a Brady hater. And yes, he is probably going to be forever the GOAT. And I'm just happy now that the Broncos aren't at the bottom of the heap alone with the amount of Super Bowl losses. The Patriots are right there with them. They might have a lot of rings, but they have a lot of losses too.
Okay, GOAT, greatest of all time. Is that what that means?
Yes.
Yes, greatest of all time.
Okay.
He kind of. I mean, as much as I hate him, I mean,
Yep.
he's kind of earned it. I mean, big time. I mean, okay, you take 3 Super Bowl losses. He's been to the Super Bowl. I think they said 8 times. Yeah, this would be his 8th time. So 5 wins, 3 losses. His team still goes to the Super Bowl when everyone else in that conference doesn't. It's hard. Like even like, oh, he lost 3 times. It's like he still got there though. I mean,
No, you're right.
Let me know another team in the span
true.
In the span he's been working in have gone to the Super Bowl that many times. My Giants have only gone twice.
So,
Shazam.
Looking at it, I think what, and I'm going to put on a tinfoil hat here. What I really think has happened is that the Democrats have gone to Belichick to get lessons on how to cross their arms and look awful.
Wow.
Damn.
Damn.
I like it. I'll approve that politic crossover
Holy
because that was
crap.
funny right there.
Holy crap.
No one does it better than Belichick.
My God.
No one does it better. He's like the grumpy old man that, he's just always going to be the grumpy old man.
They took lessons. They took good lessons for that State of the Union.
Just for the State of the Union. They were watching tape on him.
Yeah.
Dude, well, I'm telling you what was funny is that the memes out there. There's a meme out there with Hillary Clinton. And says, okay, we know what was something like to the effect of, I know what it's like to feel when you think you're going to win. I wrote
crazy. The over under was 50 on this game.
Exactly. Exactly.
I kind of think the Eagles got a little disrespected.
They did. Well, the whole time, even SportsCenter put out today. I was watching SportsCenter on TV. And they were knobbing on Tom Brady. Was he a prospect for 18? Goddamn, dude, let the body get fucking cold before you start talking about let the Eagles have their win.
Right.
Let them have their fucking win. They haven't won.
They're not going to do that. I mean, hell, if you watch the game, and I know a lot of people, I know Redleg didn't, but for those who watched the game, I was starting. Me and my dad were getting so just pissy because Chris Collinsworth. Now, Al Michaels is fine, but Chris Collinsworth just cannot get off of Tom Brady's proverbial nuts. Every time he had a chance to say something nice about the Eagles, he found a way to make it about Brady or the Patriots.
Yeah.
Even when they had those 2 calls, there were 2
Exactly.
for those at home that didn't watch the game for whatever reason, there were 2 calls that took some time in the review booth because they were, they were really good judgment calls. And I think for what I saw, I think they made the right calls. But Chris Collinsworth, every time there was anything that, like, if it wasn't a complete, like, the man is standing inside the end zone, with the ball for 5 seconds, holding it up so everyone can see, he's like, I don't think that's going to be a touchdown. The first one was about was making sure he had control with the ball at the back of the end zone when he had his 2 feet, got his 1-2 feet down. The second one was
the dive.
Yeah, was the dive.
Yeah.
Man, that boy's a beast, and he's engaged. It was engaged to a hottie from the women's soccer team, where he had caught the ball. He had taken 3 steps. The guy had hit his legs, and he dove into the end zone. It looked like his hands were underneath the ball. The ball popped up. He had turned around and then caught it. So the big thing was Chris Collinsworth, like, when does he become a runner? I'm like, if you make it, the definition is you make a football
move. Yep.
You're good to go. I'm sorry. After 1 step, and he had turned upfield because he had caught it on a slant route. Once he had turned and had taken that second step, for me, he was the runner. That third step was he's definitely the runner, and then it was either a fumble recovery. If you said what they say the ground can't cause a fumble or whatever, then it's whatever. But Chris Collinsworth could not shut up, and you could, like, I'm just like, dude, there's no way you can overturn it. If they overturn it, I said I'm going to quit football. I'm just going to go 1,000% into baseball because you've pretty much said that, and they brought up like the Steelers and the kind of the same kind of play. And I really was gonna quit football because I thought it was like that was too easy for anyone to see if you could watch the replay.
No, they were bringing. Well, say they're bringing in 20. What was it? They're bringing in 2018 rules for this game. You know what I mean? They weren't playing
the
against
whole catch thing.
The whole catch thing. Yeah, they weren't bringing it. In other words, they did say this, that the rules were going to be in place after the Super Bowl, and then that's when they said no. The shit that we were doing.
No, we're gonna do them here.
We're gonna do them here. We're gonna do it right now. I'm like, this will be interesting. And
I mean, the numbers were cool because they were very similar. New England had 613 total yards. Philadelphia 538. Both teams had a turnover. New England had more first downs because Nick Foles would just be like, had those plays where he just like that one. I think it was a second touchdown where he just tossed that bad boy up there and came away with this great. And I actually think that was one of the first disputed calls was that one where he had chucked it up there for like 30 yards and just perfectly bloop at the back of the end zone.
But
so,
how many potential?
Tom Brady threw for 29 first downs, Philadelphia 25, and then this is probably what helped win them the game. Possession time, 34 minutes and 4 seconds for Philly, only 25-56, so a little over halfway for Philadelphia. But you need to hold the ball because if you give Tom Brady any time, that's where he gets you.
If they had
go
ahead
in that last 2 minutes, it's that pucker factor. I felt my butthole start squeezing up, looking at it, going, he can pull it off. I mean, I've seen him
too much time.
Right. Exactly. Now you did notice though, had these calls had been made in the Eagles' favor, I think it would have been a slaughter.
You take away those two touchdowns or reverse them.
Yep.
There's a good chance that they come away with just field goals, and then it's more like 33-29 or something like that. Those were especially the Ernst play. That was probably like the biggest play of the game. Besides, it wasn't the coolest play because the coolest one was the direct snap reverse. Flea flicker pass to Nick Foles in the end zone.
Correct, from the tight end. That's what I'm saying. He was drafted from Florida as a quarterback, but now he plays when he's playing as a tight end. So to me, I thought that was fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That was good.
And it was you set a record with that one.
He did.
First player to ever throw a touchdown pass and catch a touchdown pass in a Super Bowl.
Yep. It was. You won't remember in college, Nick Foles actually played high school. He actually played basketball, so he had those jumps. Tom Brady, it was funny. It was really funny kind of seeing the Eagles do the same play as the Patriots.
Exactly.
But actually successfully
pull
it
off.
And
pull
Tom
it off.
Brady,
Exactly.
Exactly. I'll give the man a lot of credit. It hit his fingertips. It didn't brush his fingertips. It was like he could have went another 10 yards with the ball before he pushed out and ran out of bounds, but he should have caught that, but he didn't. Nick Foles did catch it. There was some spectacular plays on the Eagles. Like, who would have thought?
Okay, so
go ahead.
No, I'm saying so you would think that that was a lot of hate on the Eagles for some of the calls against them. I don't think it would have mattered. I think they would have persisted. I think they would have been able to score some more hit. You know what I mean? I think the outcome still would have been the same, no matter what.
Yeah. I saw the Eagles outperforming the Patriots, all throughout the game. The Patriots are really good at comebacks, and Brady's really good at comebacks. But I think the Eagles controlled the game the entire time. There's only one point in time that the Patriots were up above, and that was towards the end of the game, and the Eagles came right back and smacked them right back.
Yeah, they scored 14 points in the third quarter, which was their third quarter for the Patriots. I felt was their quarter. They could do no wrong, and I started like my wife's a Falcons fan, so last year was pretty when we were 28-3, and I told my wife, I'm like, hey, we can go home if you want, and and I think my wife now wishes we did, so she didn't have to watch that because she just started going, what's going? No, the whole way it's just getting worse and worse. So New England third quarter they were rocking it. Gronkowski and Hodge, they were killing it. But it was that fourth quarter that defense finally picked up because they're playing a lot for the Giants. This is it's a couple year anniversary from 2007, that year where we were like huge underdogs and all this stuff. It was pretty crazy. And they're talking about they were talking to Antonio Pierce and Michael Strahan. What were the secrets to beating Tom Brady? And they're saying, get pressure on him. Do not give up. Get to him. And in that game in 2007, they put him down like double digits. They sacked him like 4 or 5 times. And those were big plays. And finally, they had not. Man, Baby Flash is losing his mind upstairs. I apologize.
It sounded like he was imitating me. I was like, wait a minute.
But he's having apparently a yelling match with Mama Flash.
Oh, snap.
Boy, I'm going to beat that boy. They had not been able to get to Brady. Like, they got a couple of times where they were able to like put a hit on him at the end. No, they made sure not to give him any calls and any late hits or anything, which is great. But finally, in that fourth quarter, not only do they finally get a chance to get to him, they knocked that ball out of his hand. You saw Tom Brady. As soon as he saw something close, he tried to throw his hand forward so he can have that whole hand forward thing. But there was a good play. It was a good recovery. And they weren't able to get the touchdown out of it afterwards. But that field goal really made it where you have to not only score a touchdown, but you have to score a 2-point conversion also just to tie the game. And it gave them a lot more options to put them down than not. And just Eagles D came through. I think they were very underrated for this whole game. And while 613 yards is still a lot, they came through when it mattered. So Eagles defense, while I believe Nick Foles should have got the MVP, and I'm glad he did, to be the underlying MVP, that had to be those Eagle D right there.
For sure. And I was telling KJ on the taco truck, hey, if the Eagles can get pressure on Brady, that's how you do it. And being a Broncos fan myself, that's how we would do it. Von Miller coming in from the sides, and it just, you can see the frustration in Brady's eyes when you start putting that pressure and getting to him. And, finally at the end of the game, they did.
Well, you have to remember too that like Flash was saying, everyone was actually not expecting them to do anything. They're because most teams, when they're playing against the Patriots, they get deflated. Once they start coming back, those teams get deflated. They don't want to fight. They're just like, oh God, and they're just going through the motions at that point. But I honestly saw the Eagles being they're hungry. They were hungry.
Mm-hmm. They were wanting it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the whole thing is that it just seemed like like you were saying, man, it just seemed like everybody was just slobbing on that Brady, man. Oh, Tom Brady this, Tom Brady that, Tom Brady.
It was getting a little sickening.
It was. I was like,
am I wrong for not
dude,
going, Tom Brady is the great? I mean, I will say objectively, Tom Brady is probably the greatest. I think I've said it already.
Yeah.
But in that game, he's not the end. He's not Jesus coming to football. It's not Vince Lombardi coming to bless the game again. And I'll say this though, for probably the first time that I can remember, the Patriots did not come into a Patriots-friendly environment. I remember the second Super Bowl that Giants were in. There was a good bit. It was about 60-40 Giants, and it made a difference. The way it sounded like, and I can imagine being on the field, but just from the TV, it sounded like there was a lot more Eagles fans out there than there were Patriots fans.
Yes.
And it might have played a part.
Well, I mean, and also, I was watching some of the commentary on all the different, because for what we do, me and you, Flash, we got to watch everything. We can't just be stuck on one channel, so we got to flip channels and all that. And there was one guy that said it's minus 2 degrees out here, and breaking news. And this guy was on Fox News, and he was being serious. Breaking news: toe warmers do not work. Back to you, Shep. He was like not playing.
Nice.
He literally said that to Shepard Smith on the fucking. Okay, next. I'm clicking the channels because it's either Brady, Eagles, Brady, Trump, Brady, Eagles, dossier, Brady, Trump, Eagles. But you know what I mean? It was just so I'm trying to flip the fucking channels to find that, and that was the only humor that I saw in it. You know what I mean? So again, I just one of those things that I was just like, oh my God. So I'm glad they pulled it off. Good job on the Eagles. Hey, you guys did good. That's you earned it. Like
you did good.
You did good. Like
as
Al
much
said,
as
man.
I'm now gonna like all my friends that are Eagle fans. As soon as he's, you're going to come and get the best, blah, blah. Oh, dear God, I'm not looking forward to next year, but I would prefer that over Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. We know he's the GOAT. Shut up.
Well, that's the thing.
Oh, another champion.
Another champ. Yeah, exactly. He's got to ring the ring. You can't fight them rings and shit in the rings and oh my God. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, just give him his golden jacket and let him go retire.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. Do we have to wait for the back? Can they just when he retires, just somebody walk out on stage and go, "Hey, here's your Hall of Fame jacket. We're just going to
here's your Hall of Fame. You might as well just do it.
Yeah, just toss it to him.
Yeah, just toss it. Yeah, exactly. Here, fucker. As a matter of fact, everyone who talks about Brady just might as well have knee pads on. He's just like sitting there looking at you and, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Because you're just stop it. You know what I mean? There's other players out there in the NFL that deserve I mean, I'm telling you, as soon as they're like, it was almost like all the media was only focusing on the Eagles because they tore up their fucking town, only for a little bit to hand them the trophy and the goddamn MVP award, and the next day was Brady. I'm like, okay, I'm done. If anything else, the NFL has been sucking on Brady forever and a day. So I just kind of like, okay, yeah, next.
So let's flip the script here a little bit then. So did you guys see that that Gronk was talking about he's going to reflect on his
yes. Gronkowski kind of took it very, very hard this loss, that's for sure.
And might not come back.
Yeah.
I mean, he's won I think 2 Super Bowl rings?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 2. Seattle, he won Seattle, and then technically he won a ring for last year, even though he was hurt about after halfway through or something like that and couldn't actually play, but he got a ring anyways.
Of course.
I mean, I won't say that's the crybaby thing to do, but I mean, he at least had, which I'll kind of get the etiquette of things, but I mean, he at least, he congratulated, honestly, it's okay to reflect. Gronkowski's made a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Between endorsements, everything he's done, he's made a shit ton of money. Can't blame him. He's already got an injured arm. He had that big concussion last week, not last week, but the AFC Championship. That was pretty bad hit. I mean, I can understand going, I'm going to reflect and decide whether I want to stay in or not because I've already made a shit ton of money. I could live off this and be okay. At least it'll be surprising to see what he does. I see a lot of players. I was kind of hoping if Tom Brady won this one, he'd retire and just save football. Just so the Patriots can't be in every damn Super Bowl there is.
Well, they're also they're talking about getting some coaches, coaching staff getting out of there too.
Yeah, the DC, the defensive coordinator is now the official head coach of the Detroit Lions.
That's right.
Patricia.
Right.
Yeah,
we
were hoping
right.
the Giants were going to pick him up because he's, we love our defense-centric team that we're kind of hoping he'd come this way, but the Lions decided to go his way, and I think it's good for him. I hope he keeps the beard and everything. I think it's going to be a great step up, and I think he can do some good stuff for the Lions, but it's really going to change the dynamic for the Patriots defense going into next year because they're not going to have that same coaching presence as he was. He was fired up. You could tell he was pissed how his defense was performing. It was actually pretty funny.
Well, maybe they already knew.
Or maybe he was telling he was like telling like a specialist about ready to get out. You know what I mean? Like he's I'm gonna get my DD 214. See you motherfuckers.
The story broke around I think a week and a half ago that the Lions were waiting for after Super Bowl to announce it. So it's something they knew was coming up. I mean, maybe that's why he was even more mad because he's kind of like, hey, this should be, let's close this out. But stuff happens, and there's actually a lot. I think the OC for the Patriots was not hired, but interviewed for head coach position too. So there could be a lot of change up, and there's even talks about Bill Belichick might not stay with New England. I know the Giants were kind of hoping that Bill Belichick would leave the Patriots and come to Giants, which I'm okay with that he's not. But there's talks that about 3 weeks ago that there was some rifing between Robert Kraft, the owner, and Bill Belichick and the GM, and that could play into maybe Belichick either retiring or just not being there anymore. But speaking of etiquette, because I want to get this off my chest, Tom Brady lost some points when he just ran off the field instead of congratulating Nick Foles for the Super Bowl win. I don't know if anyone else saw that.
Yes.
But as soon as that game was over,
yes.
he He tucked
Yes.
his tails between his legs
Yep.
and hightailed it.
Exactly.
That
He
is
was a-
some
he was a
bullshit. It's almost
bitch.
bad as Cam Newton getting up during his the interview in the 2 years ago in 2016 when he lost against the Broncos and answered a couple questions and just got up and left.
Yeah. No. No.
At
Tom,
least he had congratulated him, but Tom Brady now,
Yeah.
come on, dude.
No, that's what I'm saying. Well, a press briefings, I don't care about press briefings because that's a press briefing thing. You know what I mean? But the image of you being that guy, because now what it ends up being, you're turning into a snotty bitch, is what you're looking. What you're looking like. You're turning into somebody who is just being a little bitch about shit and conduct. You know that right there, for shit like that. Since the NFL likes to really like get in the, I would say unsportsmanlike conduct. I'd throw flags up. I'd throw a flag up when the game ended. I'd be that old
the NFL
referee.
should, like, penalize
That's
him.
what I'm saying.
That's teaching kids.
Exactly.
You know, in the long term things, kids are watching this game. I watched football and wanted to play football, and I did play football for a little bit. Not maybe the greatest, but I played football. The same thing, Why I played baseball. You know, and these people, you know, these NFL players are essentially, you know, whether they want to be or not, are role models. Maybe not Dominic Sue, but still, you know, role models. And Tom Brady is being one of the greatest quarterbacks, maybe all time, but definitely this generation. You want him to do the right thing to set a good example because there's a lot of kids wearing Tom Brady jerseys. Him running off the field like just straight off running off the field like he, you know, like that. No, I'm sorry. Maybe if regular season game and you lost by a heartbreaker or something, okay. But this is the Super Bowl. This is like one of the single most watched games in all of sports, all in one night, that you can at least go and celebrate. You know, Nick Foles, who's a backup up until the last four games of the season, was the backup who had now won a championship ring off of his back, not Wentz's, but his back. You can at least go congratulate him. Tom Brady doing that, it's a shame on football, and I think honestly the NFL should fine him. Yeah. And I don't believe fine him a lot, but at least send someone kind of message like, dude, you can't do that. There's some kind of etiquette here, and you just deciding, in the
rules. What does the rule
off.
say? What does the rule say? The NFL rule book says what for congratulating the opposing team? These guys want to emanate this fucking image of being we're knights, we're battle gladiators on the gridiron, and except for Tom Brady. Looks like a little fucking bitch and cries about shit and then just runs away because he lost. Because he was expecting to get... See, that's what happens when you fucking have an expectation of winning all the time. And you know what? It's okay to lose sometimes. Good job, man. See? Good. Welcome to the rest of the world, Tom Brady. You lost.
It's funny you say that, Ice, because I guess, did you see what his wife said to their kids?
No.
His wife actually told their kids, it's okay. They hadn't won one. We need to let them win sometimes.
Oh, my God. What was really funny was the fact that she went, and I think this is an ultimate in cuck move, afterwards, while they were leaving, she was congratulating all the Eagles players as they were walking out of the locker room. And I'm thinking, what the fuck's my old lady doing at the locker room for the opposing team?
Looking for a new QB.
Looking for
I heard
Foles.
that Nick Knowles might be available.
Yeah,
right.
looking for some, go get some.
To me, that shows more class than I think Tom Brady. I know Tom Brady's a better person than that. I know Tom Brady's not that bad of a person or that bad of a player, but that I don't know.
He's a spoiled brat, dude.
Just,
that's spoiled brat
just
shit right there. That's spoiled brat shit.
That was just a shameful thing he did.
Yeah, that's spoiled brat shit right there. That's all it is.
It really is. It's we pay to win this game.
Exactly. Well,
why didn't we win this game?
Did you
Get
see
our money back.
Did you see Belichick running after the fucking ref after the game was over? He was chasing after.
I heard
him
that. Hey, give me my money back.
Yeah, exactly. Give him my tip. Yeah, he's like, I want my money back. Give my money, bitch. But anyways, yeah. So that's got some good talk. Hey, real quick, I'm just doing another troll alert. If you guys don't know, this was a couple days ago or something like that. I think it was there was a 275 kid who was killed in Oregon doing a live fire training exercise, and he was part of the Ranger Regiment. And every time on the main page they will post individuals who've obviously lost their lives in training or on missions or whatever. No big deal, right? We always do that stuff. We always want to pay homage and pay respect at U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTFNationRadio.com. It would appear that when that was posted and it was identified who it was, our awesome little friend Evan Friel. Remember him? Do you guys remember Evan Friel? Evan Friel. Here, let me pull up on your screen there. Evan Friel. Evan Friel has been the troll every time someone dies and is being honored on U.S. Army WTF Moments or the Army Times and trolls the comments and says he doesn't deserve to go to Valhalla because it was a training accident and torments family members. So,
this is the same guy that probably thinks Kuwait's a real deployment.
Oh, we're going to talk about that shit in a minute. But yeah. So Evan Friel, fuck off. You know, if anything else, fuck off. And you talked the last time we posted your fucking face up there talking all this crap, and you're shooting your fucking mouth off and all that, trying to be all big and bad on the goddamn main page, and the next thing you know, you got butthurt because WTF Nation Radio once again plastered your fat fucking face on screen. So there you go, Evan Friel, eat a dick from WTFNationRadio.com. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So we'll get threatened to get sued again and also the shit. So Flash, get ready for some. You got some PAO talking points and shit like that. Oh wait, yeah, there you go. You should be good. So, but anyways,
I'll just tell him to fuck off. That's easy.
Exactly. So what it was is that an Army Ranger died at an Oregon training facility. Specialist Devin Kuhn was killed in training during a live fire event. So shots go out to the kid and his family. So Rangers lead the way. Again, unfortunate. He suffered injuries during the shooting in a housing area of Camp Relay, Oregon. The camp is a main training facility for the Oregon National Guard. He was an automatic rifleman assigned to Alpha Company's 2nd Ranger Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment. They're at Fort Lewis. And he deployed once to Afghanistan. His words include National Defense Service member, Army Service member, expert infantryman badge, a Ranger tab. Survived by his wife and parents. So it's accidental. So again, shots to the kid, shots to you, Specialist Devin. Specialist Kuhn.
Till Valhalla, brother.
Yeah,
Till
exactly.
Valhalla.
Exactly. You're doing it in the line of fucking duty. It is an honor to in the line of duty. Doesn't matter. So
I had to explain to my wife the other day that after the deaths in NTC, the two Apache helicopter pilots, and she's like, I thought, how was training this dangerous? I'm like, what you need to remember, sweetheart, is that we train to do our jobs and to kill the enemy, and that involves us doing the things that we would do out there. We're going to fly the helicopters that aren't always going to fly right.
correct.
We're going to drive the tanks that aren't always going to be as fine-tuned as we want.
Exactly.
Because that is just the nature of our job. Not everything is, my weapon's not going to fire 1,000 out of 1,000 times. It will jam. It will do things. Helicopters have this. Things happen.
Exactly.
That's why this is a dangerous profession. That's why this isn't a profession for the, as my old drill sergeant Hanner, God, that would be awesome if you ever listened to the show, used to say, this isn't a profession of weak minds and tiny hearts. This is it's a dangerous job. So whether it's a live fire exercise or it's, anything, honestly, it doesn't matter if you're doing PT or you're out there in NTC rocking and rolling, or the Special Forces guys doing their thing.
Just think about
this is a dangerous job.
Exactly. Think about that, though. Think about that. Just some of the things that a civilian would normally not do, what we consider routine as soldiers, a civilian just doesn't do. A civilian doesn't wake up at 5 in the morning, does PT. Could it be, run 2-3 miles, sometimes 4, maybe do an obstacle course, urban assault course in uniform, come back, shit, shower, and shave, go to work, and then part of your work is humping a ruck and doing some land nav training or jumping or fast roping or air assaulting or, climbing walls, blowing shit up, dealing with explosives, firing weapons, and like you said, pushing ourselves and our equipment to the max. Something like that is you're right, something like that is going to happen. So, again, if I go down like that, man, I'm going down doing something that I love to do. You know what I mean? That's just, it's badass. Fuck yeah, dude. No civilian, like you said, no civilian could understand that. When against civilians, they just can't understand it. Because according to Greg Salcido, we were the lowest of the low. So, this is just the way we are. But anywho, hey, so real quick, this is a story that was brought up to my attention. So you guys know what happened with the with that fucking what was that that dude? What was that? The fucking what was the name of that Nazi fucking group that happened? Was it Charlottesville?
Elliot
right?
Klein.
Yeah. So he was the guy that was He was the guy that was leading the freaking the group, the Tiki Torch guys in Charlottesville.
Those white shirts and khaki pants.
Yeah, white shirts and khaki pants and also their shit. So it turns out from our friends over at Task and Purpose that this guy is a faker, stolen valor.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be honest here. I'm not actually shocked at all.
Well,
like that are the things that have shocked me today, like doing my taxes. This is Elliot Klein saying, being people telling, oh yeah, he's faking his, his credentials in the military. Not a shocker. I mean, honestly, I don't know why people think that it's a good idea, considering like watching the media and watching people. It's not like as bad as during the after the Vietnam War, where veterans and shit were getting spit on and hated on and people were jumping them. It's not that bad by any means, but it's still not a veteran. We're really not in a veteran-friendly environment, especially since the election and everyone views us in a certain way, which isn't correct, but whatever. That why I'm just gonna go and say, yeah, I did all this, that, and the other. If you're gonna do that, why not do your proper research? Because this guy had some very interesting things to say.
Well, here's what happened. So he decides he wants to get into being a neo-Nazi piece of shit. Which
we all strive and grow up to be.
Dude,
we're douchebags.
Fuck, man, that's why I kept telling you I was born in the wrong time. You inglorious bastards! I'm gonna give me some scalps. So, he saw his favorite hero get punched in the face. Which I wish I was there to see him get punched in the face. But anyways, leading American white supremacist Richard Spencer got sucker punched by a protester on the streets of Washington at Donald Trump's inauguration, and it
was funny as fuck.
Yeah. It was fucking yeah. So he says he was pissed off because it was like if he found out if he was there, it wouldn't have happened. We are a group of well-mannered, young-looking white people who have something to say. This is what this little piece of shit said. So he went right into it and started, I guess, this new thing. I didn't know. So you know what I was kind of looking like? I thought they were officers. You know when officers go on off sites, they wear white polo shirts and khaki pants? Mm-hmm. That's what they look like. They look like a bunch of officers going on a staff ride. Wearing all that. That's what they look like. They're wearing their sports jackets.
Is the neo-Nazi official haircut that whole half-buzz comb-over shit?
Dude, I know, man.
Like all the prominent like neo-Nazi, white supremacists, alt-rights, or whatever, which are all douchebags. So you have a problem, I'll give you my address and you can come talk to me about it. But it seems like all the alt-right folks, especially the ones up front, like not like the hillbilly redneck, like we just don't want those types of people around here. Not them, because that's just how they raised. These guys are like college educated and shit, and they're what really set me apart as a white supremacist. Let me get a buzz cut on the left side, and then flip my hair over so people think I'm a leftist while being alt-right. Shazam.
Yeah. So he said he was an Iraqi vet. He was a Iraq vet and blab. He was saying, went to Kuwait and back to Baghdad, back and forth. We did a little stuff, used the border stuff. By Iran. So he said he said this in the podcast. That's what he said. So everyone thought he was a Mr. fucking it was clean cut. He's he's eloquent. There's no way this guy could be that way. Well, he was doing this on his podcast. He was talking all this mad shit. And
wearing those fake ass Ray-Bans.
Yeah. He even went by the name of Judenjäger, which it means Jew hunter. And the
douchebag.
The fact that he would even fucking say that, you guys don't. When you've known Holocaust victims or known guys who've been in World War II that have liberated the fucking camps, and like KJ said, you could joke around, throw a couple memes out, and say that's fucking funny. But when you get to the seriousness of that, I think it's fucking serious as shit.
Yeah, and coming out with that handle, it's like, okay, I guess, you go from being a casual racist to somebody that, and I always had a problem, like when the guy got punched in Washington, I had a moral conundrum because I believe people under the Constitution have the right to say whatever, free speech. Doesn't mean we have to like it, but they are allowed to say it, and I'm not going to stop them from saying it. But on the other side, the descendant of a World War II veteran who stormed the beaches of Normandy, specifically Utah, and got all the way to Germany, and then was about to get deployed to the Pacific, but luckily we handled that business over there. As a descendant of that person and a long line of military people, I wanted to punch the shit out of all of them. So I kind of was in a conundrum with him. But coming out and saying Jew hunter, you go from being the casual, like, oh, we're going to rub you off, to the, okay, somebody really needs to go and beat the shit out of this guy, because he needs to either be corrected on his personal stuff, which an ass whooping will do that, or he just needs to be snuffed out, because that's the kind of shit that doesn't fly.
Yeah. You know, we do have a lot of land out here in the West. We can cordon off a whole bunch of land, take these fucknuts, put them out there, put the Antifa out there with them, let them go at it, thin that herd way down.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then
pay-per-view.
There you go.
The Hunger
Exactly.
Games, the
National debt.
Antifa
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Oh yeah, like the fucking Hunger Games.
Battle Royale.
So this shit stick never deployed to Iraq or anywhere else. So according to the Army records and his former fellow soldiers, he served in the National Guard in Pennsylvania, but quit before his contract was out.
Pussy.
And
How do you
so
quit before your contract's up?
in the Guard,
Or
in the Guard. Let me say that again.
ah.
So
because if you in the national, I've learned this being, I've learned this, that you can actually, like, if you just stop going, like, apparently it's hard as hell to really get yourself kicked out of the National Guard or Reserve, because what they do is, if they haven't seen you in a while, they either put you on like they'll move you to the reserve status, or they're just going to keep you on the books and not, like, it's so much paperwork to just get rid of you that they just kind of don't care. So they probably just was like, they probably just let him quit. He was done, and then when his contract was up, then he was like, okay, cool, he's off the books now. Who cares?
yeah, exactly. By that point, yeah.
Because you only get paid when you go to drill or annual training or schools and X, Y, and Z. So they probably just was like, had him on the books, like, we don't care. We'll take the red on him until his contract was up, and this was like, let him fall away.
Dude, man, I didn't mind going to reserve duty. That was fun. I can get away from the house.
Yeah.
Get away from the house and shit. You get to play a little bit of soldier there, and then just not even fucking, but you go home and, oh, okay, cool. I'll do this for another month. It's fun. I mean, I had a blast.
You got to look at his neck though. He couldn't pass the tape.
Yeah, dude, he's a fat piece of shit. So he was put on the spot, and he was being asked. It's like, hey, so did, a reporter asked him, so did you go to Iraq? And he's like, well, yeah. I mean, I was in Kuwait. I told that before, but you told me you were in Kuwait, and then you went to Iraq. Well, they're basically the same. Well, similar to the way it works. Wait, what were the dates you were there? Let me think. Hold on, I'm trying to figure it out. 2012, I believe. The last of the troops left Iraq at the end of 2011. So this guy's trying to freaking, he talks shit about what he said he did, which, it's already spouting some bullshit. He says he's been on missions and doing stuff in Kuwait and splaying Muslims' brains out in Kuwait and all sorts of shit. He's a fucking faker. All the way. Completely fucking fake. What I find fascinating is the fact that why hasn't this guy why hasn't this here's what trips me out. And it's just one of those rhetorical questions. Maybe it's a legit. Why hasn't any of the groups like the Simon Wiesenthal Center for that they hunt down Nazis? I mean, you would think why haven't they fucking done something with this guy, like arrested him or all this other shit?
I mean, what can you arrest him for? Being a dumbass? I mean, unless he goes out and physically assaults her. I mean, he can talk. And that is the blessing and curse about the First Amendment. And I greatly appreciate it, because the First Amendment allows us and, people like us on WTF Nation Radio to talk and say what we want to say and how we want to say it without worrying about, anyone shutting us down because of we're saying stuff that's unpopular or whatever. Unfortunately, that goes the other way, where you have people like Antifa or Chelsea Manning or this guy that can say what they want. And I'm pretty sure if a DA could bring charges to people like this, they would. I have no doubt that there's some kind of short list where they're like, if this guy gets a parking ticket and doesn't pay it right away, we're going to get him. Like, I'm pretty sure that there's something going on, but, it's hard to get these guys. While they seem stupid, a lot of times to make sure they don't get arrested unless they're trying to become some kind of martyr for their cause, which, you know, it happens. They're smart enough to know that I can, as long as I'm not, like, they usually, that's why they have so many guys around them. So if there's anything that breaks out, they immediately back up. The peons up front will punch and slap and hit. But then when they go and they try to say something, oh, this guy did this, like, well, no, he didn't. This guy punched him. You can see, and they, you know, they're smart like that. And I kind of hate that they're smart like that. But, you know, I'm pretty sure there's somebody just waiting for the one opportunity.
Yeah,
to get
I was
them.
about to say, so you're probably right. I mean, they know how to speak, so that way they skirt on it. But the way, I don't know, but the way everyone's getting flipped out, I mean, they're all talking about changing the way speech is done anyways. You just can't yell fire, right? I mean, is that what they're saying? Is that what the pundits are saying? Is now that you can't talk like that? I mean, they're trying to change free speech. They even say that hate speech is not free speech anymore. So let's just turn it fuck yeah, dude. I'm agree. Nazis, honestly,
and I agree with that. But what do you consider hate speech?
No, I'm talking about not. Okay.
Black Lives Matter.
Black
Lives Matter.
But a
people
guy
going, you know, kill the police. Is that hate speech, or are we going? Depending on whoever views it, says that's hate speech or not? Because I consider saying kill X, Y, and Z anybody, regardless of my affiliation. Doesn't matter if I'm with, you know, Yankees R Us or whatever, or Black Lives Matter. If I say kill anybody, that to me sounds like hate speech. Not just if I'm a very neon white, buzz cut douchebag alt-right Nazi, but see, you have to have some kind. The problem is you have to have some kind of basis.
Are Nazis
like, you know,
alt-right or alt-left?
That's the hard part.
Are Nazis alt-right or alt-left?
Depending, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what
they want the state to take everything, but they take care of everything, but they want the state to take out certain people or move out certain people.
Correct.
They want more government intervention. They just want their kind of government intervention. So yeah, fucking guys. God.
Yeah, no, I just fucking it just frustrates the fuck out of me because you can't just like open up and punch him in the face and all that because. I don't know. What would happen if all of a sudden there's?
Because then I'll go to jail.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what they.
Like if I get caught,
exactly.
Like I could punch that guy, and all of a sudden, like I'm the Antifa God and Savior, which would scare the hell out of me. But if I punch the guy, I'm gonna end up in jail. I'll take the short victory, but then I'll take the short victory, but he'll win in the long term.
How about we send him to Gitmo?
Oh my God! And, oh look, he's blue eyes too.
No,
he's got that. He's got that douche post hipster beard going on, and the cardigan jacket with the sweater.
Yep. And I'm telling you, they all look like senior field grade officers going on a staff ride. Isn't that what they look like? Admit it, they look like officers going on a staff ride. We open up Gitmo to kill a terrorist and put him there. Terrorists will be there forever.
But you can even look at the picture on on the article that taskandpurpose.com has, and he's surrounded by his people. He might be near the front talking the trash,
exactly.
But he's not the one who's going to be. He's not the one who's always the ones that are causing problems, right? And he's too smart for that. And they're all wearing khakis and white shirts. I mean, I can't wear khaki. I was afraid to buy tiki torches this year.
Dude, we talking about
in Virginia, like, you know, because I live in Virginia, so that happening in Charlottesville, I'm like, shit. If I have pretty much shaved my head because it's both, you know, I'm losing my hair anyways, and it's easier for come drill weekend. But you know, I have that going on. Plus, I'm kind of white because I don't tan well.
You're porcelain, dude.
Shit. Like I'm going. I'm like, can I hire somebody to go buy me tiki torches, or do I have to have like a doctor slip saying he's not going to use them for any kind of alt-right rallies?
No, just use some. Just use one of those citronella bowls and stuff that you have. You know, those little things that you can light up on the. Make sure.
Shit, I was afraid to even walk near the garden section of Lowe's because I was worried somebody's going to be like watching me, like get me on camera.
Exactly.
Oh, they're about to start another one. There goes a white boy. Oh, shit.
Exactly.
No, I'm not with them. Leave me alone.
I'm not with it. There he is. Go get him.
You should try and live up here in Oregon because, you know, now in the wintertime we all have moon tans. There's no sun up here. So, you know.
I love that.
So we're all transparent. You know, already blonde as it is. So
I thought all
yeah.
people in Oregon were werewolves or
Yeah,
or
exactly, dude.
vampires and
Yeah,
shit.
'cause-
I've been watching
No.
too much Twilight.
Or grunge.
That's Washington. That's the state above us.
Oh, no, it's like Germany. Being stationed in Germany is on the
Yep.
same equatorial plane as being in the fucking Pacific Northwest, and it's always
Mm-hmm.
cloudy. When the sun comes out, everyone rushes to the fucking beaches so that way they can get some of that vitamin D and shit. So
Yeah, well, it was almost 60 here today, and so people were in shorts and sandals and stuff like that.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I was just throwing that dick bag up because he was now saying that he was. So check out Task and Purpose, talking about how he was deployed and all this other stuff. They got a pretty good spot going on that. Diming that fucker out. The piece of shit, man. So
And good for them.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Exactly.
more people need to speak up about this kind of crap and call it when we see it, especially when we catch people like that. Because one, saying that you deployed, you did this other stuff is wrong. And and I have friends that don't even consider. Like, I have a friend who will refuse to wear his the flag he got for Kuwait because he's like, it's not a real deployment. Fuck this shit.
well,
And more
I mean,
and more power to him. But when people always try to bolster their resume in the military to make them more of a leader, it's funny, especially. And then you're National Guard. Please go away. Do us a favor. Go
Well,
away. And
I
that's
mean-
not knocked anyone in the National Guard. I do know some badasses. In the
I
Pennsylvania
kind of-
National Guard and a couple other
I
places.
kind of was, but I kind of was in the
but
army. I was
it's the
kinda,
National Guard.
But I was kind of in the army when Iraq invaded Kuwait, and they were in Kuwait, and it was a shit show. It was a fucking combat zone, so it was a deployment. So I'm just saying, that's same fucking thing. I mean, everyone's. Well, you're right. Said they're not getting fucking mortared. You're right, but I'm just saying. I just think it's funny how what was considered a war zone, kind of like Germany, is now
a vacation.
is now a
spot.
vacation spot. Yeah, exactly.
I
Everyone's
had a friend of mine who was riding camels out there.
yeah,
Bullshit.
fucking I'm going and exactly. So hey, we got our guest coming up at 2100. PJ Walsh. If you guys don't know him, he's gonna come back on. He's a pretty
Hell
dude.
yeah.
He's a fucking riot. But and we also have some. Of course, after we have him on, we're gonna have the third segment where Flash and I and Spurs are gonna be talking about the winners and losers, and of course entertainment news. And then I think I'm good for a break now. We can go ahead and check this out, and then we'll get ready to do this. There's a couple other questions too about is it Facebook? Everyone's saying about the Facebook Live, so it sounds like it's good. I mean, you guys good on Facebook Live? And you guys here on Facebook Live?
Yeah.
It looks like everything's look good.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I see some people asking questions. If you can't get it on Facebook Live, you can also get it on Mixer, YouTube. If you're watching, or the TuneIn app, if you actually want to see it, if you're doing some stuff in the house and you want to hear me, booming through your surround sound through your Xbox One, then there's the Mixer app on Xbox. Have we hit PlayStation yet? We just see about hitting PlayStation, so that way we can.
Nobody likes PlayStation.
What's PlayStation?
I'm gonna put that out there. But hey, don't forget, even if you can't want to listen to the whole show, you can go on WTFNationRadio.com and you can download the podcast. We also post those on our Twitter at WTF Nation Radio. We don't put them on Instagram, but hey, we have one, so feel free to like us, share us, help us spread the word, the gospel of WTF Nation Radio. We're awesome.
So say it the ready. So we're gonna take a break right quick, so that way we can get PJ on. And we'll be in a sec. So with that, shots.
Shots.
Well, it definitely is all about the visuals, although pretty sure it's illegal.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And we're back. PJ Walsh, what's up, big man?
Hey, how's it going?
Dude, welcome back. Tell us what's up.
No, it's nice to be back, man. I think it's been like a year since I yapped with you guys.
Yeah, it has. And you've been on some adventures from what we've been hearing. So you went overseas, huh?
Man, let's see. I was in, for Memorial Day, I was in Afghanistan, entertaining the troops there on Memorial Day, and then Thanksgiving, Iraq, and then for Christmas, I was in Poland.
Oh, whoa.
So,
wait a minute. So tell us about Poland. How was that?
You know what? Poland was the most interesting one because it had this, Afghanistan and Iraq, it almost feels like they're like, oh, it's a comedy Tuesday, they get entertainment so much. But Poland, they were like, what are you doing here? Thank you so much for
How do you find us on the map?
Yeah. So oddly enough, Poland was like amazing. It was pretty awesome, and they were very thankful. And everyone's always thankful, but a lot of people go to, entertainers end up going to Iraq and Afghanistan to entertain. So sometimes I feel like they get a little bit spoiled. Poland, they're like, nobody comes to see us, man.
Yeah.
Our parents don't even write us.
Well, yeah, because it's Poland. I mean, it's right next to Germany. So, so did your trip to Afghanistan and Iraq, did it seem different from the other times you've been there? It was like your second time, right?
No, it's my third or fourth to Iraq, and probably something like, I don't know, man, 9 to Afghanistan.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Maybe
So the last time it was Okay. So the last time it
Uh,
was your second time. Yeah, I got it. So how was it? But do you see a difference? I mean, is it? I mean, still a shithole, but do you still? I mean, is it still?
Oh, infrastructure wise, it was pretty. Afghanistan was like, man, that thing was like moving like clockwork. I think the last time I was there was like 2007. So so how clearly it's been a minute, but it was. You used to go there and go to like when you fly, you'd wait forever, because the Air Force, they turn over every 4 months. So if you get them on the front end,
Yeah, exactly.
And then they don't got the job done. They don't got it down too well. You always hope you get them at that last 4 months, the last fourth month that they're there. And then, everything gets moving. But now it just really, it was like clockwork. It was like really, really organized. The morale was very, very, very high. They looked like they all knew the clear mission. So it was very interesting in that aspect. And Iraq the same way, same thing in Iraq, but not as clearly as built up and as the infrastructure of the base being as what it is in Afghanistan, since we've been constantly there so much. But definitely, I'm always impressed with, sometimes you forget, you kind of get stuck up in your own world doing whatever I'm doing. And, I always keep in touch with the military and work with veterans and do everything. But when you go over and you just see what an awesome group of individuals that we have serving, you just, I always go, man, we're in great hands. We're in great hands.
Yeah. Now,
so
were you in the former ISIS occupied areas too, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, I was about to say. So how was that? I mean, because I know that place fucking surreal as shit from what it used to look like till then after ISIS got a hold of it. So.
Well, we were at the what's the biggest base there? The
Al-Assad.
Oh man, I'm gonna forget. But when we were there, the huge base where they had a theater and they had everything, and a pool and a diving board. They gave that to the Iraqis, and then so they were on the outskirts. And we were there. The commanding officer said, he told us, he goes they had this thing called the MIR, and that's how much that ISIS and all was in there. And he said, this isn't gonna last much longer. And we were like, oh really? And he's like, yeah, well, this is gonna be done pretty quick. And then 2 weeks later, boom, it was over. And I like to say, we were there for a week and a half, and all of a sudden it ended. So I don't want to say I had anything to do with it, but
well, I mean, they were.
I think they caught some of our acting. They're like, what, we're gonna get the hell out of here.
Come on, man, your jokes can't be that bad. You're funny as shit, dude. Come on.
Yeah, all right. I'm not. But it was just interesting. I think it's one of the worst part. I heard you guys. I was listening to you guys earlier, and you're telling. You hear this, teacher out there in California, and what a privilege it is to be able to voice your opinion. So like that, and
yeah.
And I think the thing about something like that, and I got you guys served, and I think you look at that situation, and you're part of you just shake your head, but you like to take somebody like that and bring them there. That's my biggest thing. I'm like, don't talk if you've never been there.
Yeah.
If you've never experienced it, if you've never, then just shut up.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
exactly
what you're saying is so ignorant. My biggest thing is I hate intellectual ignorance.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, you know what I mean? Like these guys who are above everything, and to knock, it's like, what are you gonna do when? I mean, it's interesting to me because I lived in Hollywood forever, and I have one foot in what I would say like in the military, and then I have this other foot in what would be the entertainment world, and so I get to sit back and listen to what's going on and see what people have to say. And when I hear that, I'm just like, well, you have zero experience at it, and you just want to make yourself feel good and feel like intellectually superior. And I'm like, but there's intellect and there's heart, and I will take heart over intellect every single time.
Of course,
every single time.
Of course.
And so I think you take a guy like that and you sentence him to like just go there for a month and observe and meet everybody, and then come back and talk to me.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Or at least meet some of the Kurdish or the Hasidic family members that were or entire, because ISIS didn't just, they wiped out whole family bloodlines. They didn't. It wasn't just like a little fighting here and there. I mean, if you've seen the videos in the military, we all share videos and stuff like that. But if you see some of their propaganda videos, they were vicious. So when we have kids out there that are in the front of that crap and they're facing it, because I didn't really think that that those bases would get built back up, and I don't know if the Army was going to go or the military was going to go into like a hide and let's just see what happens, until obviously their rules of engagement got changed. But I couldn't believe when he said that. When Gregory Salcido said, and I'm pretty sure in your comedian channel, your Hollywood channels, what are they saying? Are they saying like what the fuck as well?
Well, you know what? I drove. I left Hollywood at the end of November, and I'm heading up to New York. And I've been like out on the road. And actually, right now, I'm talking to you guys from my girlfriend's parents' house in Virginia Beach. So I've been here for about 2 weeks. But most of the people that I talk to in Hollywood are veterans. Like I know a lot of people who are veterans. So nobody even we hear so much of that. Like it's really hard. Like if I go over and entertain, I had to really get used to this one aspect of, let's say like in 2004, I was I did 33 shows in 23 days in Iraq, and for me it was like I was in the first Gulf. I was a dental technician and a field medic, and I spent 6 months. I was with the Marine Service Support Group. I spent 6 months on a ship, went to field medical service school, and went to the tail end of the first Gulf. And it was very for what that was at that time when I was that young. It was very serious and very focused, and that was the first conflict we've had. In a long time. And luckily, when I look back at it, I'm like, it's a fraction of what you guys had to go through. And it's one of the reasons I always feel so passionate about doing anything I could do to help current service members and veterans out, because I really feel like I was very lucky in my service. But when I started going back, I'd see all these young faces that reminded me of myself, that remind me of all the friends that served, the people I talked to, but guys that were still my best friends to this day. And then all of a sudden I'd end up in a green room listening to some Yahoo talk out of his ass, you know? And I really had to kind of realize, like, it took me a long time to go, okay, look, this is more important to me than it is them because of my experience. And I'm okay for you being ignorant. I'm not okay for you staying. And I think that's where I kind of draw the line. Like, if you don't know about what what service members are going through, and you're talking out your ass, but if I bring your attention to it and you get aware of it, and then you're still talking out of your ass, then we have a problem. But if so, I had to kind of get that. You know what I mean? It's like sitting in, because a lot of these entertainers are very incredibly narcissistic, and and they're insecure and want to feel good and hear their own voices. And I don't have to tell you, you guys hear it all the time. So I just try to do the best I can for not punching somebody in the throat. It took me.
Well,
it took me a
so
long
do we.
time
We
to
do the
kinda
same
get that
thing. Well,
we all struggle with that every single
I was
day.
about
It's
to
okay.
say.
Yeah.
There's a support group for it. You're okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think it's when you're in a tiny little green room and you're in with these. Sometimes you're just kind of like, oh my god, dude, seriously? Come on.
Yeah, and they're talking all this, and you know what? And I'm pretty sure that the whole thing about that little shit stick talking is, had he said, "Oh my god, I fucked up. I'm sorry. I'm no longer teaching," or "I'm going to go visit a veteran center," or "I'm going to do something to at least make up for it," or whatever, or at least the school district is going to do something. It is something to that effect, to where we think we know, okay, maybe this guy feels a shred of regret for saying what he said. The guy immediately jumped on the internet and said, "Fuck vets, and I don't care about this," and started talking more shit, and then decided, the school board put him on leave indefinitely until the investigation's done. There's nothing to investigate. So
yeah, but you know what? Because I mean, that's the road you got to take now, because there's a whole industry going down that way.
Oh my
and
god!
And that's the privilege that they have. Like, it's like that guy's not going to come out and go, "Oh, I was wrong," because nobody's wrong anymore. Like, you can build a whole industry off of being a completely, like, what you're gonna find. The internet has done a thing where it's so big, he's gonna find a group of people that support what he thinks.
Oh, they already have. Yeah, they have.
Which he found. He did find.
Yeah, he did find.
And
Yeah,
you can find that, and that's the good. You ever what always goes back to me? It's so funny to me. It goes back to the last Rambo, John Rambo. Remember John Rambo? Like,
yeah.
That movie.
Which one? We're talking about the one where he just unloads everybody in the gun truck?
The very last one.
Yeah.
In that movie, he he's a boat. He's on a boat. He's like in exile or whatever. And this guy wants to come up and do a mission, with religion and stuff, and go up to this part of I don't know where they were, Cambodia or something like that. And he's like, "We're bringing Bibles and this and that." And Rambo's like, "You're gonna need some guns." And he's like, "No, we won't need any of these guns." And then the guy's like, whatever." He's like, "I got God in my heart. I'm gonna, spread love, whatever, And that's his intention. Cut to the end of the movie. That guy is beating some dude over the head with a rock.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because he had no clue. He had zero clue. Like, it's like, dude, until you understand that. So these people, they have the privilege to think like that. And, I think part of the thing about being a service member, and I often say this about comedy too. I'm not going to equate them to be the same thing. I'm just talking about there's the shades of it. Is as part of about a service member is, we got to shoulder the things, not we anymore, but like you guys and the ones who are in now, or say us who have a more glimpse into it. Sometimes we got to shoulder things that are regular people can't deal with or don't understand and will never understand.
Yeah, of course.
So we get to talk to each other and go, like, what a privilege it is for you to say something like that. You have no idea how lucky you are.
Yeah.
And you're lucky for that.
Yeah.
You fucking moron.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
I was like, lucky nobody was beating your ass, because first off, California is really big on the anti-bullying thing. Like, you really can't pick on, or you really can't make a comment on anybody. Hell, you can't even make a comment about somebody's gender without somebody blowing it out of proportion when you really didn't fucking know.
You gotta pick one. Aren't there there's 97 of them now?
Exactly. Plus a number and an ampersand, whatever. But the whole thing is that they also don't realize that they forget that that whole class of being protected and all that also applies to someone who wants to join the military. It also applies to someone, and that's the thing. These two kids walked in wearing USMC t-shirts. And the guy started going off on his uncle. The guy's like talking about World War II. Like, I'm sorry, man, but you're coming at me about my family and dissing the service. I'm surprised that kid didn't punch the teacher in the face.
Well, that's one of those things is, sometimes I hear it, like, sometimes I really think about it. I grew up in New York. I'm from New York. I was born in New York City, raised up just a little bit upstate New York, and everybody I grew up with was like from the city. So I grew up in a time period where, like, sometimes even as a comic, I hear some of these roasts. Like, I see some of these people roasting, and I'm just like, yo, you be knocked the fuck out.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I think that's one of those things, like, you got to earn being able to talk like that to somebody. And something's happening with the internet and, keyboard commandos and all this kind of stuff is, they get ballsy, and that's bleeding into regular life. And we don't have that privilege. We just can't knock somebody out anymore. And people just sometimes really need, I'm a comedian because I'm 5'9", 170. You know what I mean? I know how to make people laugh because, I'm a scrapper. I could knock your collarbone out and then I got to run.
I want to fight.
So
exactly.
I'm not going to say something stupid, but these people are getting so ballsy with the way they say shit that, sometimes you need, that guy's uncle should have came in, knocked him the fuck out, and then looked at, if he got brought to the judge, there should be like a common sense thing when the judge is like,
oh, no, not
okay,
in
I get it.
Yeah, not in California, though, man. Not in California. That's what I was just talking about this kid right before you came on. There was a kid that every time we post something on U.S. Army WTF Moments or WTF Nation Radio, we honor the fallen. It doesn't matter, like me and Flash and Spurs were talking. It's like it doesn't matter what we're doing. Our line of work is inherently dangerous, and you train as you fight, and you rock on and you give it all, even when you're training. A kid a few days ago was killed in a live fire event, and so the main page posted its honors, and then there's some little shit stick who decides to say, "Oh, he doesn't deserve to go to Valhalla because he didn't die in combat." I'm like, Dick, are you fucking for real? So exactly.
I know.
Yeah. So you're just like, whatever, dude. So that's why earlier before you came on, so that way you're not attributed to this, we blasted his face and talked shit about him. So that way you could say, hey, that wasn't me, man. That was those guys before me.
But, well, I think there's one of those things. So a lot of, veterans and a lot of service guys gravitate towards me at times. And one thing that I understand is I'm not a combat veteran. And one thing I always do is I know I can empathize. I can be a good ear. And what I make sure I do is try to connect them with a combat veteran, because combat veterans should talk to combat veterans and does that. But I think once people start having cockfights, that's just not, about who did what and who didn't what. I'm like, to me, we have all went to that room, put our hands up, and we're willing to, sacrifice our lives for other people. And we're all brothers and sisters in each branch. And for me, it's really, really important for me to keep having that move forward, to do whatever is possible to, like, if any one of you or somebody or the 22 a day need help, that has to be. There's nothing that should stop that moving forward. And I think any kind of conversations like that where someone's saying, well, he doesn't deserve this, it's just like, why, dude? Why?
Yeah, well, that's another case of I want to punch somebody in the face and the type of shit. You know what I mean? So again, I don't. I'll be honest with you. I'm just wondering that it just kind of makes me mad that sometimes we kind of rage at the wrong shit sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like everyone's like, oh, well, he's expressing his freedom of speech. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, this teacher's he's bullying a kid.
Oh, yeah.
He's bullying a kid.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things where it's just like, dude, like, nobody's right about anything. And if you're sitting there, you teach the kid and open their minds, but you don't try to convince them. That's two different things.
Yeah.
Educating somebody and trying to convince them, that's completely two different things. And should the guy lose his job? Yeah, he should lose his job for being that dumb.
Yep.
Just being that stupid. Like, you can't, you're sitting there saying I'm the dumbest of the dumb. It's like, bro, you shot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, exactly.
Without a bullet. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. We didn't have to provide you anything. You did it on your own. We just had someone to record it.
It is that thing, but we're gonna you hear so many of these idiots, and what a privilege it is to be so ignorant. And it's one of those things. I just kind of shake my, because you can't change people like that. There's a certain one you can't change. Like that guy, you can't change. And sometimes you see it on TV. Nobody wants to actually listen to anybody. They just want to hear themselves.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course. Of course.
And that's one of the bad things. There's a few things that are going on in the country right now that, even I sit back and I'm concerned with. Like one of my biggest things I'm concerned with when I look at this stuff is I grew up. When you made a mistake, you were allowed to learn from it. Today, you're defined by it, even if that shit happened 20 years ago. I'm like, dude, I ain't the same person 20 years ago than I am today.
Yeah. Of course.
You can't cherry pick something that happened that I did when I was 19 and say that's freaking PJ Walsh in 2018.
Well, not to mention the
Like,
fact,
what do you-
yeah, or not to mention the fact that you're held accountable for something that you did when you're 16.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
PJ
I'll tell
Walsh-
you what though, I'm at that point like I don't give a fuck. Like I know who I am. I really
Exactly.
don't. Like I don't read comments on shit. I don't do any of that stuff anymore because I'm like you gotta take the good with the bad. So if I read a comment that's like PJ Walsh, you're the funniest guy I've ever met in my like you're awesome, and I'm sitting here patting myself on the back, then I gotta give just as much justification as the guy who's like PJ, you're a freckled prick ass monkey. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So to me, I'm like, all right, let me just. I got great friends. I got friends that I served with. I got great comedic friends. I got a great family. You know, I do a lot. I'm very fortunate that I get to work with a lot of great nonprofits where I get to like be around amazing service members who went through a lot, who inspire me with their stories and have become personal friends. And I'm like, this is where I keep my gauge. This is where I'm here, where maybe I step out of line or I'm a douche or this that. I'm not gonna give that power to some jerk off I don't know who just commented on me.
Exactly.
I'm like, I don't fucking know you. Go blow yourself.
So what is your what is your we need to get a beer, man. So what is your
yeah?
What
can
is your?
I say that? We can talk like that on
Yeah,
here, right?
of course we can talk like that. No, there ain't no FCC. Net neutrality's on. It's gone. So anyways,
it's actually highly encouraged. You speak your mind here.
Exactly.
Are you hearing? You just had that deep breath of like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, I heard that. Did you hear that? You just like let a gas. He's like, oh God, can I really say that? Yeah, we have no dump button here.
Sometimes you're in these places. Like sometimes I'll end up doing these like religious, like, you know, I have some friends who like have me come do their churches and stuff like that. So I did, you guys will like this. I'm doing this church. This lady asked me to come do this. It was a singles. It was a Christian singles night, right? And I don't care. I could work totally clean. I could be out there with the grittiest of the gritty. Like it all works for me. And I like changing those gears. I like working all those different muscles, right? But I'm in the back and this woman comes. She's got like this freaking flower dress on and I'm sitting in the back of the room, sold out like crowd to do this thing. And there's a guy next to me, big black dude, right? He's sitting next to me. And I met him once before. And this lady comes back and she goes, "Are you guys married?" And he says, he goes, "Yeah, I've been married for 20 years to my wife." And then she says to me, she goes, "Are you married?" I go, "No, I'm not married." I go, "But I have a girlfriend." And she goes, "Well, how long have you been together?" I go, "We've been together about 4 years." And she goes, "Do you guys plan on getting married?" And I'm like, "Well, she was married once before, and I've never been married, and I don't know. We're really happy with where we are." And then this lady looks at me and she goes, "Well, I prefer marriage instead of two people using each other."
Whoa. Whoa.
Right? Yeah. And I just looked at her and I was just like, and I made a choice. I could have totally destroyed her, you know, or I could have just like moved on. But I was there to make all these other people laugh. And I'm looking at this lady and it reminds me of like this guy. Some people don't realize how fucking stupid what comes out of their mouth. You have me at a Christian singles mixer.
Mm-hmm.
There are 300 fucking miserable single people out there, and you're one of them. And you're going to tell me that I'd rather be married than use somebody? My girlfriend and I are so happy. It's not even like we're great.
Hell, my wife and I use each other all the time.
I was about to say,
that's what being married's all about.
I got a shitload of ex-wives. I don't mind using them either. So,
but the balls to sit there and go, you know, to insinuate we're using each other, you know, I'm looking at this lady and I'm just like, I can't tell you that you are such a fucking cunt right now, you know what I mean? And so like when I get to, you know, talk and just be real, it makes me feel good at certain points, because certain times you kind of, you know, it's not my, you know, I'm there to make a whole bunch. Sometimes you have to look at the bigger picture, and as soon as she walked away, the guy next to me looks at me, he's like, "That was the rudest shit I ever heard in my life."
and you're at a singles joint. It's just like a Christian singles joint.
And he's looking at me because I've heard some fucked up shit, but this lady, I was just like, man, this lady. He's like, "What? Do you care?" I'm like, "I don't give a shit." I'm you know what it is? I'm at this point in my life where I kind of, it's like you're gonna step in shit in every step that you take these days. I'm just like, whatever. I'm shit covered. Let's move on.
Exactly. No, I was just curious because, you know, I know sometimes a lot of people get wrapped around the axle about some stupid shit like that. I'm glad. I mean, like I said, I don't get bothered either. We get a lot of crap about it, how we discuss it. So anything you want to say, man, you can go ahead and say it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's one of these things where, you know, especially when you're with the military, we crank it up a little bit, and
hell yeah.
And that's just how we go. I try to tell people sometimes. I'm just like, when you go entertain the troops, it's funny because sometimes they'll tell us like, we want you to keep a PG show and keep it, uh, you know, this way. And I'm like, this ain't what they want, bro.
Do you really get told that? Do you really get told like they really tell you to kind of like you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that? I mean, like somebody like you, Dave Chappelle, would not be able to carry a show. But if you guys were really raw,
I could do. I think. Well, here's the thing. Dave could absolutely, and no doubt I could too. It's just a different gear, and I'll embrace that every once in a while. I could do an hour completely clean if they want. But it's not my preference. My preference is to totally be me. But I also look at this when I go over to entertain the troops. Like when we were in Poland, we had one show. We had two shows. We had two shows in one day, and at the same place. So they switched out the troops. And the first show was like we just went to town, right? And then the second show, they come in, they're like, "Yo, can you guys just tone it down a little bit?" And we're like, okay, all right. And because there's so many different rules and this that. So the second show definitely was not as fun. But I look at it as I'm their guests.
Yeah,
I'm playing
that's
at
true.
your by your rules, and I'm there to keep everybody happy. But if you're coming to see me, that's a different deal.
Yeah.
You're coming to see me on my territory, and then you're just like, oh, and I don't get out of bed in the morning trying to hurt somebody's feelings or offend anybody. Like when I entered the military, I gravitated towards healthcare, and then I became a comedian. I want to give people the best experience. I want to make them feel great, and I feel the best comedy is when people come together. So, I'm not trying to do that, but at the same time, like I'm gonna say what I want to say. Like I can't not do that. That'd drive me crazy. I wouldn't sleep at night if I didn't get out what I wanted to say. So, and if you got a problem with it, I'm like, oh, fucking move on. There's a big world. There's other people. You don't need it. Go, go cookie cutter shit if you want.
So what's your who's your non-profit? Who's your, I guess you would say, not-for-profit that you're working for right now? That's kind of sticking in your mind right now. Who's your? I wouldn't say your favorite.
A couple weeks ago, I was down at Reunion Golf Resort with Tee It Up for Troops, which is a great nonprofit. And what they do is they'll reunite a soldier with their battle buddy. So if they were injured and it's somebody that was over there with them, they'll bring them together at this golf reunion weekend, and they'll golf together all weekend. They have like classes and then they have classes for the caretakers as well. And it's just an amazing nonprofit. And I think they've raised in like the past 6 or 7 years, like $8 million. And then they disperse that to other nonprofits.
Oh, wow.
So that one is, and to be in there and to sit in with all these warriors when they start speaking and opening up, and it's the first time you can see all these guys and women to get kind of let their guard down, because they're in a room where they know if shit flies off, there's a whole bunch of people that got their back.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty amazing thing for me to witness and to get to be a part of. And so I get to go there and make them laugh and then spend a weekend with them. And I made some tremendous friends. I did it 2 years ago. I had some great friends, and actually a Navy SEAL, gave me his coin, and it's the coin I carry in my pocket all the time. I always carry a coin in my pocket, and I've been carrying it ever since.
Nice.
And this year I made a lot of really, really great friends. And another one I work with is World Team Sports, and they do a thing called Adventure Team Challenge, and they don't just do military, but they do a ride that's kind of primary military called Face of America, where it's about 700 people, and what they do is they take able-bodied and disabled, and they put them in sports together, and they do a ride from the Pentagon to Gettysburg.
Oh, wow.
And it's just, amazing. So I did that 2 years ago, and it was just unbelievable riding into Gettysburg, and people on all sorts of cycles and veterans. It was just unreal. And then every year they do a thing called Adventure Team Challenge, where they have a team of 5, and it's 3 able-bodied and 2 disabled, and one has to be in a wheelchair. And it's about 3 days of adventure racing, whitewater rafting and zip lining and mountain biking, and you work as a team. So you get to work for me, the first time I did it, I never worked with what would be considered disabled. I don't use that word. To me is like these guys are, and men and women are not disabled. They're unbelievable. So when I use that word in its definition, I'm like, that's not. There's got to be a different one, because what they do is just amazing. But you get to work together, and for me, it was just to hear their stories and to see what they've come back for. And it's not just me. I've actually been on the Marine team, because I was with the Marines in the Navy, so they put me in the Marine team. So even though I've done the military section, there's also all different types of people who've had certain accidents and stuff that, has left them either paralyzed or missing a limb, that have come with these amazing stories and then overcome it. And then when you sit around a campfire talking to these men and women and you hear their stories, well, that's when I'm like, I ain't got no problems.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
I got nothing. So
no, we've had some guests come on that we were just been totally. We've gotten me and Flash have been overwhelmed sometimes with some of our guests, and I never, like, when I have an ache or a pain or something's hurting, I never complain about it. I'm still in. You know what I mean?
I've learned to complain a lot less after talking to some of the folks we have. Like,
exactly.
Like I wake my wife's like, "You okay? Your knees hurting?" I was like, "No, I'm good."
Yeah, good.
I think about all the people that we've talked to. I'm like, "No, my knees are right as rain. I'll 1,000 miles. Let's go."
I know it's a crazy thing, because when you have full awareness that you have it so much, you have it better than so many others, that I live every day. I know that, I think it's one of the reasons why it's hard for me to be like ultra successful in my area, because I think to be like an ultra successful like entertainer, you just gotta love yourself so much. Like the big ones, they're always their biggest fan. And I'm always kind of like, ugh, can't love myself that much. Are you kidding me? Like, ugh. like it's just one of those things. And then you also know, like, that you're so fortunate. Like, I know how fortunate I am. Like, I like in my bones every day, I wake up knowing how fortunate I am. Because, I take these trips and I talk to guys like you. We have these discussions, and, I have these discussions every other day. So when you have that, you just kind of know, like, man, I'm very, very, very fortunate. So it's kind of, it's an odd place to be. It's a good place to be, but it's also, you can't be super greedy when you're aware that there are people who need so much. Like I couldn't understand having like 200 cars. I'll never understand that. To me, that makes sense, because I know there's 200, veterans out there that can use whatever is sitting in my garage. Like whatever that can place to keep that going.
Yeah,
I can take that money and put it to good use. I'll never get that. That will never make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
I mean, if I ever did Seinfeld's Comedians in Cars, my first line would be like, "Why the fuck do you need all these?"
Sometimes I think it's just like to rub it in
Boom.
too. Yeah, sometimes I think it's like to rub it in. Like, well, look at me, look at all these cars that I got. Yes, you know what I mean? I hate that.
I
shit.
won't lie though. If I had a ton of money, I probably would have like a whole array of Mustangs. Just
well, dude. I'd definitely have like 2 I'd fix up or just as that, but I wouldn't have like a $50 million worth of cars. Like,
exactly.
Not when I know I can give $50 million to like develop a great thing to help, veterans in need. Like, I don't know. Now, I don't get that.
Now,
that's just me. Like I said, these things are more important to us than other people.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
priorities.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it is.
Exactly. Now, do you see a disparity, like difference between other comedians? Like you said, I know you hang out mostly with veterans, but the ones that you don't hang out with, do they even, when they hear that you're a veteran, after they find out, if you make them laugh and all that, and they find, oh, what'd you do? Because they always want to hear you how you cut your teeth, right? Do they ever kind of like give you that? Oh, that's nice. You know what I mean? Is there that disparity?
No, not really. I mean, I think there are a lot of people who want to go overseas to entertain a troupe so they can like have it on their resume. It's like a good thing to have. And then there are some, who are really, really passionate about it. And, then there are some who pretend they are, and when asked, actually don't go. And I've witnessed all of those. So I just kind of look at people's. It's very interesting to be an entertainer. Like for me, the most interesting part about being in the entertainment business is watching words versus actions. and people really respond to words, like what people post on the internet, or what they say in interviews. But if they just do a little bit of research and look at the actions, they'll be like, those don't match up. So that's what's been interesting to me about being in the military.
You've caught some
being in the military and being an entertainer.
So you've caught some
because
stolen valor.
The one thing I think the reason I generate towards the military, the veteran people, is like when they look you in the eye and shake your hand and say they're going to do something, 99% of the time they're going to do it. I'm not going to say all of us are perfect, because we all know that's not across the board. Just because you're in the military doesn't mean that you're perfect.
Yeah, of course.
But I've realized that there's that thing where it's just like when there's so many people in the entertainment business where I shook their hands and they almost looked me in the eye and said they were, and it meant nothing, but that doesn't really happen with the military people. So if there's anything, I think maybe that's it. I think they just know that I'm going to be for real, so it's like you're not going to, like, especially at this point, I've been in the game so long, you're not going to waste my time. Like, I had a guy say to me once, I bumped into him with a friend of mine, and I hadn't seen this guy, I swear, in like probably 9 years. Hadn't seen him, talked to him. I don't even think he's commented or liked anything that I post. And we happened to bump into each other at a party, and the guy looks at me and goes, PJ, you know what? I was just looking at your card today. I had your card on my desk. And I was like, really? The card that you got from me 10 years ago, you just happen to be looking at today?
Are you that cluttered that you finally found my fucking card on your desk?
Yeah. I swear, I'll give this guy credit where credit's due. He looks at me and he goes, yeah, you're right. I wasn't looking at it. And then we had a great conversation. But I'm like, dude, don't stroke me. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Stop. Oh my God. Tell me about it. So so your what's in the future? What you got going on next?
Well, what I decided to do this year is I decided to go. I'm going to head back up to New York because I want to do like a late night set. I want to get more into because I've been doing so much stuff with nonprofits, and a lot of the calls that I get are, people calling me up and saying, hey, I hear you do a lot of these things for the troops. And, I have a lot of material that goes that way, but then I have material the other side that I've almost the past couple of years been put into this, like, not pigeonholed, but that's where everything's happening. And that's not a career. Like years ago, I had a career where it was really thriving. I was doing all the clubs, I was doing all this. And then I kind of, in 2007, when I was in Afghanistan, I ended up in a C-130 full of flag draped coffins for 5 hours, just flying with these, lost soldiers. And that just kind of fractured my insides at the time. That was a big, I kind of sat there just staring at those, just realizing that whoever was under those our colors, I owe everything to. Like, that's the type of person that instilled everything in me that I feel is good. Those are the friendships I had. Every step that I got to do, like, I got to play Radio City Music Hall. I toured with the Blue Collar Guys. I got to be in a movie. All of those I can attribute to that time when I served. And I just kind of sat there and was like, I am no better than whoever's in there. And why am I getting to do these things? And they're not going to have that opportunity anymore. So I felt a little bit of that, survivor's guilt that I think, we all get. And once I had done that, I kind of really shifted the way I did things in a way that I really wanted to bring attention to service members. And I wanted people who don't understand what service is to understand it. So I actually left comedy, went to theater school, because I feel like comedy is where people go to forget, but theater is where people go to feel. They're willing to take the journey, and just kind of created that story about service, and really enjoyed that. And I created a one-man show about that and won some awards with it, and it did what it does. And a lot of Gold Star families and parents told me that like, you get it, and thanked me, and that's what was great for that. But that's not like a career like move. That's like an artsy move. So, and then once I started doing stand-up again, I started doing a lot of like nonprofits, and I can't ask for a lot of money from a nonprofit.
Of course,
you know what I mean?
Like, no, I understand.
Like, oh yeah, I'll come for $70,000. And like, what kind of douchebag does that?
Exactly.
Some people was like, we want to raise some money so we can make some prosthetics for some. Yeah, well, okay, but pay me $70,000 for my 20 minutes. So. you know, not be a douche. But I go and I've been doing a lot of that stuff, and it's great. But I'm also realizing, okay, what I want to do is I want to build up my brand. I want to build up not my fame, but recognition.
Of course.
And so the more that I can do that, I can at the same time help who I want to help, which is, you know, our community. So so what I've decided is to take this year, and I've done American Ninja Warrior the past couple of years and trained to do that. So this year I decided to take off doing that and just move back to New York City and really focus on trying to get a late night set and just to go back to square one. Actually, just like, you know, I use a lot of my old military training when I do things like this. So I'm just going to go back to the drawing board and create the 5-minute set that I want and just get a late night set. I really want to eye Colbert, because I used to work in the White House, and the material I'm doing about when I worked in the White House and now is just really destroying. And it's also what I would call snow that's never been covered. No one's walked in this snow. Like, a lot of times you look at comedy and it's like, give me something old but new. You're like, that sounds familiar, but he did a different spin on it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I used to do the dental for the White House. Nobody's telling you that story. so I'm trying to get that and narrow that down.
So wait a minute. So whose mouth were you in?
I'm the only man who could say he was in President Clinton's mouth. I don't think there's another man who could say that. So,
hey,
that's
PJ,
the key right there.
Long time no see, PJ. How you doing, buddy?
Man, I got a story for you. You like cigars? So let me tell you this.
Jesus.
But like, I'll tell you guys, some of the stuff I'm working on is just this amazing stuff that's happened over the years. And my favorite, so yeah, just to let you guys know. So when I worked in the White House, a tiny little dental clinic in the basement of the White House, and I had, you know, President Clinton, and I took her to first and second families, and which is odd enough because sometimes, you know, when you do stuff in the military, some people don't believe you. I've had people tell me to my face I'm lying.
Of course.
Like, when it comes up, they'll be like, "You're lying."
Of course.
And I'm like, about that?
Yeah.
That's what I picked? Male dental assistant?
Yeah.
Like, like I could say Navy SEAL. I could like drive Air Force One.
Yeah,
be the guy from Terminator 2. There's a lot of things I could lie about.
Exactly. You notice guys always lie big too. You notice that, right? Guys always lie big. You never hear about guys lying what you just said, being a dental assistant.
I had one guy say this to me. It was unbelievable. He goes, I go, dude, who even makes that up? He goes, it's so out there. It's got to be a lie. I'm like, I can't win with you. Go fuck yourself. So, but I got to tell you guys this. So
PJ,
one of the reasons I wanted to bring this back is, so when my very last day when I was in the Navy, I got to go into the Oval Office and say goodbye to the president. I have never stepped into the Oval Office. I went to the White House a lot, but I never went into the Oval Office. And I was really excited about that because, man, like, this is the Oval Office. Like, my parents immigrated here from Ireland. This was like when I worked at the White House, like, I think I was the youngest person at the time. They told me I was the youngest person to provide healthcare for a sitting president. I was a part of the White House medical team. So I was 21, and my mom immigrated here from Ireland. So this was like I was her pride and joy. She'd stop anybody on the street and tell them, like, you know, like, especially some mother of a kid I went to school with, like, how's Steve? Oh, he's in Harvard. Well, my son provides health care for the president, so whatever. You know, she, like, right in the face. And then when I decided to leave the White House to become a comedian, man, my mother, she was like, what? And people ask, how's PJ? She's like, we lost him.
He doesn't want
his car in the driveway. Oh, they found his car, but he's definitely not anymore. So my very last day when I got to the White House, I got in, this is the God's honest truth. I was in my dress blues, I had my ribbons. I go in, I walk into the middle of the Oval Office, and dude, I am just like, holy shit, I am walking in the Oval Office. You know, like, this is the room. You know, so. And I walk in, and the president's standing there, and he goes, so, PJ, what are you going to do now that you get out of the Navy? And I say to him, Mr. President, I'm going to become a comedian. And he goes, well, I'm sure you picked up plenty of material here. And I started dying. And he's like, well, you could be whatever you want. Like, whatever you want. And then we shake hands. And while I'm shaking his hand, this is exactly what goes through my head. I'm shaking his hand, and he's telling me this stuff like, work hard, do whatever you want. And the only thing I'm thinking is, this is the softest carpet I've ever stood on in my life. Like, this is unbelievable. Like, and I look down, and I'm standing on the presidential seal. I'm actually standing on it, and around us it says President of the United States. So we shake hands, and they take a photograph. And this is before digital, so I have this like White House official photograph signed to me, to Patrick Walsh from Bill Clinton. Now, my mother took it, and she's kept it ever since. Like, I don't get to have it. It's displayed, and she has it, and that's that. It's hers. She's gonna take it to the grave. So I got that in 1995. So over the years, the Bill Clinton signature, started to fade, and unbeknownst to me, my mother took the photograph and mailed it to Bill Clinton's office in Harlem. Right? She did this last year. I didn't know. She called my sister Tara, and my sister Tara was like, "Did you contact anybody?" And my mom's like, "No, I just put in an envelope, put a note on it, said sign this again, and mailed it off." And my sister's like, "Ah, shit, that's gone." Right?
Oh my God.
So she calls me up, and I'm like, "Oh man, that's gone. There's no way we're getting that back." Dude, President Clinton mailed my picture back, re-signed.
Wow.
Right? But not only did he mail my picture back, but he also mailed a picture of his own headshot signed to my mom.
Wow.
No shit.
So
'Cause my man got no shame in his game.
I was about to say he was going after mom, man.
Oh, say what you want about Bill Clinton. That's some funny shit.
Yeah. How you doing?
Dude.
How you doing, lady? You want some of this?
Yeah. So, and that's the thing I love about the military, and that's why I want to go back to New York, and because those are very unique stories. Those are very unique things that you don't hear from other people. And if I could put myself in a position to where people can see how unique service is, much like what I just told you, then I feel like that would be a really good thing. That's a good thing for all of us to sit there and go, okay, oh wow, so you got to do this, and now you're doing that. Yeah, we're not what that freaking moron teacher said we are. We're far from that. You know what I mean? Like, my parents immigrated here. I got to provide health care for the president. I still go overseas and entertain the troops, and I make people laugh for a living. We're not what this jerk off thinks.
Exactly.
He thinks we are. And that's kind of where my focus is this year. It's like I'm going to be a little more selfish on trying to get my stand-up back to that place where I get that kind of recognition, and that way I can, at the same time, for me to work that hard and to be that selfish at my job, I got to also parallel it with I want to do this so I can help the people I care about. I can't just do it for me. That's never computed. Like to go up there and to have my name in lights just doesn't make sense to me. Like to or talk about me in third person. I hear people do that all the time. You know what I mean? Like I'm like,
Yeah, exactly.
But if I could do it, and I could share these really cool stories that I've had with my friends and get people laughing, and also stand on a piece of ground no one else has stood on before, and if I know at the same time that it's like what I ran the New York the Marine Corps Marathon because I was running for the Semper Fi fund. I wouldn't have done it for me. Just because people asked me to do it. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
like I gotta trick myself in my in my head to kind of to do things like that. Like I would never have gotten out and done all that training just for me. Like, but since I got asked to do it, and I knew I was doing it for a nonprofit, I was like, okay, now I'm getting up and running all these miles because I know I told somebody I would do it, and it's other than myself. So I'm trying to, figure that thing out, if that makes sense to you guys.
No, I gotcha. I just, I'm an Army guy. I don't believe in running fucking marathons. We jump out of airplanes and then ride for a little bit, and then that's it.
I don't believe in running whatsoever.
Yeah, that running thing.
Crawl,
I
or roll.
Exactly. I don't know about that. This whole running thing. The Marine Corps Marathon. That's like a staple Marine Corps event to do. You know what I mean? That's one of the raw things to do for them. They will.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
The only time I need to run is if I'm running to a bar after payday. That's about as much running as this man does right here.
Marathon's 26 miles, right?
I already got into it at 26.2. I got into it a couple years ago. You know how I got it done? You know how I did it? I ran with my friend. I ran with my buddy, and he's a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps, and he was shot in both his legs in Afghanistan. He was a helicopter pilot, and he was descending, picked up a bunch of guys, and then as he was going up, he took a round in one leg, went into the other leg, ricocheted up, and then came through his elbow.
Oh shit!
And flew the chopper back like 23 minutes, landed it, and passed out. So saved everybody, and then rehabilitated himself, and was able to walk again and run. So I tell people all the time, I go, you want to make sure you're going to complete a marathon. You run next to a friend who's been shot in both legs. There's no way you're quitting.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like, there's no point
Yeah,
could I look over at him and go, oh, man, I'm kind of cramping up, getting tired. Really? You fucking pussy. I was shot in both goddamn legs, you freckled puss.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Even when I thought it, I put it down. I'm like, nah, Pete, just keep going. Just keep going.
It's like, I'll shut up. I'll keep going.
Yeah, exactly. I'll keep going.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hey, PJ, thank you very much for coming on, man.
Yeah, man, it was great talking to you guys, man. I appreciate what you guys are doing and having me on.
Hey, because we didn't get this last time you came on, but we always we used to ask our guests to come on and say, hey, this is PJ, and you're listening to WTFNationRadio.com. Can you throw something out like that for us, like right now, and then
absolutely
go for it?
Yeah, you got it.
Go.
Yo, man, this is PJ Walsh. You guys are listening to WTF Nation. The best guys going. They ain't no pussies, and you're gonna get it straight.
Awesome.
Love it.
Love it.
Dude, we didn't even cover any of this Super Bowl or any of that stuff that happened.
No, we can still.
Night.
You want to still talk about it? We can. You can stay on as long as you want.
Oh, dude.
Do you want to talk about it? Okay. Yeah. We can keep going. Go ahead. Well, yeah, go for it. We don't.
I don't know if you guys covered this. Was that like not the most enjoyable evening of all time?
Are you talking about the proverbial bent over movement against Tom Brady? Hell yeah.
And Bill Belichick.
And Bill Belichick, yeah.
Not only was the game just really, really good and really, really fun, but all the train wrecks that were happening around it. Like, first of all, the Giants commercial. I'm from New York. All right. I've never been so embarrassed for New York than when that freaking Dirty Dancing commercial came on.
Oh my God,
I
dude.
disagree. That was the single greatest commercial.
Stop. You're right. No. Exactly.
You're out of your mind. That was so embarrassing.
Exactly. No, you're right. You're right,
PJ. The most embarrassing thing. I almost put a Buffalo jersey on. That's how bad. That's how bad that was. I was just like, what is going on now?
If the Giants had a regular season, like a good, at least a over 500 season, I would have found it more enjoyable, and because I'm a big Giants fan too, so when that came on, everybody was hammering me because they're like, "What the hell is this?" I'm like, "I don't know, I didn't create it."
But I felt like you were telling everybody they're never going to win again. I've had a time in my life. We're never going to be a Super Bowl team ever again.
See, the way I see it is the whole Dirty Dancing thing is like we can only go up and we're going to go crazy or some artistic. I don't know. It was just weird seeing Eli Manning show even worse footwork than he does in the pocket.
Oh my God. He tried to do the Swayze when he was standing there in his shorts and he's trying to move his neck. Like Patrick.
Oh my God,
Patrick
dude!
Swayze
Yes.
Popped up from the grave and spit at him. That's exactly what happened. It was that. So that was unbelievable to me. And the winner of the night was David Harbour from Stranger Things and that Tide commercial that kept coming on there.
This is not WTF Nation Radio. This is a Tide commercial.
Oh my God, I was dying. That thing was great, but again, and since we were talking about all this. I nearly threw a sandwich at the screen when I saw the one-legged rock in the new Die Hard. Like, I was like, what the fuck just happened? So all that happens, and then all of a sudden out comes Justin Timberlake with his freaking moose on his shirt or whatever the hell was going on.
It's like Bob Ross painted a shirt just for him.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Dude, you know what would have made that legendary? This is what Justin Timberlake should have done. About halfway through his freaking singing and dancing, no singing, just his dancing, if Janis Jackson would have came out and ripped his pants off and he showed one ball of the world, it would have been, okay, we got it.
The fact that they played the same song that, caused all that problem and everything like that, I was telling my wife, like, that's ballsy as hell. And
no
then
pun
I kind of
intended.
like how they poked fun at it. But the whole that whole halftime, like, I was sitting there going, I prefer Lady Gaga.
Oh my God!
Don't get me wrong. I think her music a little like it's not my music. I'll just put it that way. But her halftime show
was badass.
Actually pretty damn enjoyable. And I'm sitting there going, wow, I'm actually preferring Lady Gaga, or please bring back Tom Petty so we can, bring him back from the dead so we can have him do another awesome Super Bowl halftime like he did in 07.
Bruno Mars killed it.
He killed it.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yes,
I was just kind of shocked at how meh it was. And
they tried doing all this stuff. They're like, we're gonna walk all the way around the stadium. We're gonna go up to the rafters. We're gonna actually burrow underground and perform. And then we're gonna go into the stands. And then that one kid trying to do the selfie, who's like looking up who the hell JT is.
Yeah, the kid was just totally
Justin Timberlake. Who?
And then and then after all of a sudden there's a touchdown and the Eagles are up and you're like, oh, okay, they're going to go down. All of a sudden they cut to commercial and they're like, in 2 hours on This Is Us.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Dad dies.
Exactly.
And you're like, good grief.
I was like, what the
They
hell?
had to keep all the people that didn't care about football caring about. Like my wife's like, I'm only watching this because This Is Us is coming up after.
My girlfriend watches it, and I was just like, I can't believe you watched this show. You watched it for 2 years just so this guy can perish in a horrific house fire. Like, why are you even watching this? And that commercial would come on, and I was just dying through the whole entire thing. I'm like, this night is unbelievable. And then right at the end, Kevin Hart gets a freaking stiff arm when he's trying to get on stage.
Yes.
Dying laughing.
Yes.
I had to pause because my dad didn't know who the hell Kevin Hart was. And I'm just sitting there going, look, he's trying to get up stage. Look, he's getting denied. Look, he's not up on stage.
Oh my God. It was like the most enjoyable Super Bowl, and so much was happening. And and then, some of my best friends are from Philly, so I was very happy that they won. And I don't really have a big rivalry with Boston either. I don't really care. I got friends from Boston too, but I just really, really enjoyed it. And then everything that was going on around it was unbelievable to me. It was like the funniest, craziest thing.
Besides the Giants' Dirty Dancing, the best commercial was the Dodge Ram in the Vikings, where they had them actually going into Minnesota, and then they see today's matchup, and they turn around and leave.
Yeah, exactly. That was pretty funny.
I spilt my drink. I tweeted about it. I was like, wow. I guess maybe they had, they cut it both ways. So, if the Vikings would have got in, because I don't know how far ahead these commercials, but maybe they were like, well, just in case. But I thought that was hilarious.
A lot of people have been talking about the Budweiser one where they're canning all that water and then they show all the countries they sent it to. And then I'm like, Flint, Michigan wasn't on there, you prick.
That is very...
they showed everything except for... I'm like, maybe you should have sent it there, huh? When you think about your own country there for a second there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's another thing, too. Did it seem like... I don't know. I noticed that it was pretty general on all the content. There was no...
We were going for as little political anything as possible.
It was just
everyone
general.
Was just like, not this year.
Yeah.
Last year they went full force. I mean, for the last couple of years, we had the whole. It's been one after. It's been something. This year they're like, no, we're not going to play this game. This year.
It's a weird year, man. This year, I mean, lots of things changing this year, man. Big shift this year. So I think they're kind of, it's like I think advertisers and everybody are just kind of Hyundai came in there and just said everyone's hugging. I would have been so mad if I would have went to the game and they would have taken my keys and I walk into some room and all of a sudden I'm hearing a sad ass story about how and then how somebody beat cancer and I I mean it'd be like, dude, I'm hammered right now. What's going on? And all of a sudden the family comes out and they're crying and they hug me.
Get rid of the cocaine.
Yeah, I'd be like, dude, what's going on right now? And they're like, you bought this Hyundai and you helped somebody. I'm like, Jesus, are you kidding me? I was trying to help myself. It's a Hyundai. I would have liked to buy something better.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I cried when I bought this car.
Exactly.
So, and then all of a sudden, here comes Steven Tyler, and he starts going backwards in time. It comes out like Jeff Bridges in Tron Legacy with his weird face and shit.
Yes.
And I was just like, it was so entertaining like I love train wrecks. So like there were so many train wreck moments that I was just like, this is unbelievable. Oh, what fun!
Well, what about the Dodge Ram commercial the other Dodge Ram commercial that's getting all the heat for using the one of Martin Luther King Jr.'s sermons?
Oh yeah.
Apparently, like I guess the daughter.
The family said it was
runs
okay.
The King Center, and the son is over the estate, and they both had like this big argument about who can use what. So they allowed it to use, but like everyone's been trashing on, going, "Oh, I didn't realize MLK did a sermon just to sell Dodges." I went, "Well, shit, they used Gandhi for another thing. Why not use MLK?"
Yeah, well,
I always think that's a bad move though, because I remember where that was starting, and I was just like, okay, and then all of a sudden you see the Ram. I'm like, nah.
I was worrying
with such a horrible product placement.
Yeah,
it's just you get this heavy speech, you get this, and the old shots and all these beautiful moments, and then all of a sudden it's like car. You're like, all right,
just like, wait a minute.
Somebody just was like, "Hey, I got a great idea. Is it worth getting fired over?" Yes.
But that's the thing. Nobody got fired. They got permission to do it.
And Dodge, the funny thing, Dodge is like owning it. Like, fuck it.
I think that's all you can do. Like, honestly, in these days, I think all you can do is just be like, hey, man, that wasn't my intention. And that's it. And then move on. Like a lot of comics, we have these conversations where it's just like, dude, what if something happens? What if you say? It's like, dude, if you know who you are, who gives a shit? Like, you can't control what people think. People are so judgmental or whatever. And some guy probably thought that was a great idea. A lot goes into it. And
a lot of money goes into it.
A lot of money goes into it. And I'm sure he did, their intention wasn't to stir that up. I'm sure it came from a good place. But everyone just wants to just be like, make him lose his job. Get him the fuck out of here. They're evil people. And it's just like, really? Because you're the one with the freaking torches, man. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I was trying to do a nice little thing over here. You prick. Yeah, that whole entire, like, I have this big thing where I always feel like just because you feel like you're right doesn't mean you get to act wrong. Like, that's annoying.
There's that preach. Yep. There's that preach emoji.
Yeah, exactly. Where's the preach emoji? Preach. Yeah.
Like, that's one of my pet peeves too. Like, where like I was watching the who was that actress who was in the Star Wars Portman or whatever, and she was talking about all this stuff at the Women's March, and where she was talking about all the directors, the female directors, and this is that, and or how like there was no female directors nominated in anything. And then it's like, yeah, but you have a production company, you've made 9 movies, and you never hired a female director. Like, I can't. It only took me a minute to realize how hypocritical you are. Like, I can't. Like, you could have got a female director and you didn't. Like, I don't. Like, I've worked with plenty of women, and I've worked for plenty of women, and they're awesome. So, but like, it only takes a second for you to go, I think you're kind of full of shit yourself.
Yeah, exactly, man. Oh my god, dude. Now who are you going for though? Who was your team that you were? Come on, you can say it.
Who was I going for?
Yeah.
Oh, I was totally going for Philly. One of my very best friends, Ken Kane, grew up on Allegheny Avenue in Philly, and I go visit him a lot, so I was totally pulling for Philly. And I was scared that they weren't going to do it. I mean, you looked at what Brady was doing, but at the end, I really kind of felt like, because Philly was they were really burning the clock on all their touchdowns. Like, Brady was just going and making it happen. And I had said this to my girlfriend and her parents at the end. I go, if they do a drive where they get to burn the clock and they give their defense a really good rest, they could pull this off. And, that's what happened, because the defense started to get wore out a little bit right before that last.
Yeah, that third quarter in going to the fourth quarter it reminded me a lot of last year. And my wife's a big old Falcons fan, so I kept poking fun at her because I'm stupid. And I'm just like, he's wearing, because he goes quick and they bring the defense over and over again. And I was sitting there going, man, Eagles, Eagles are starting to fall apart. They're letting all those they're over, like straight over the middle go away, and no one's covering it. And then it just that last 5 minutes in the fourth quarter, the Eagles apparently got a second wind, got some oxygen, took a potion pill or something. But they looked pretty damn good, and getting that big old fumble recovery, that honestly, that a field goal. You make it so it's 4 points. So they made it so they had to get a touchdown, and then they made it by that getting that turnover. They made it so they had to get more than a touchdown. Get a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, which even a good team, that's still not a guarantee, even if it is Tom Brady.
I don't know how Brady was even able to move with how far Collinsworth and Michaels was up his ass.
Oh my God, dude!
Thank you. We were talking about.
Oh
this.
my God, they were.
We were every time the Eagles did anything. Oh, the Eagles, they deflected that pass, and Tom Brady's great at this, or it was always something.
Yeah.
They had to make it about Belichick or Tom Brady somehow. He's like, I'm going to start this way, and I'm going to lean into it this way, and it was just
how
so
many
annoying.
times they would like play the one touchdown that to the quarterback, and like I can't believe like before that call when they were on the fourth down, like. I looked at my girlfriend. I'm like, they got to go for it. They got to go for it. And all of a sudden, these guys are going, I can't believe they're making this decision. I'm like, if I'm sitting on a couch
exactly
in Virginia Beach going, they got to go for it. It can't be that big a decision.
Exactly.
It's just like they're hoping that if somebody's listening from like the Eagles camp and is like telling them, hey, don't go for it. Chris Collinsworth saying, don't go for it. And he's a football guy. Oh my God, I could not stand.
Is he
and
though?
He was anytime those two touchdown like reviewed play calls. He was just like, no, that's not a touchdown. It's not a touchdown. It's not a touchdown. If that's a touchdown, I don't know what. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
It was a touchdown.
Exactly.
Any person can see it. And you have more cameras and stuff than we get.
The
Like,
problem
it's not that hard.
They sit too casual. Whenever you click back to them now, they're just sitting in these little stools with their hands folded. They're not standing or they're not sitting. They're just kind of halfway. I'm like, you're too fucking casual to call a game. Whenever they click back,
you need to be sitting with Jaguars behind you to really get the fear. in you about
exactly.
the game.
You need to be leaning in. You need to be in there. But they're just kind of sit back. Their hands are folded. They're like, well, but look, and it's not like I'm gonna sit here and say it's an easy thing to do. They have to fill a lot of airtime. They got to have a lot of information. They got to fire. It's like it's easy to sit from this for where we are and to throw it at them. But at the same time, it's like you guys have been doing it for a minute. Like
for Chris Collinsworth, all you had to do is talk about the God that is Brady, and he was able to fill in all the time. I felt bad for Al Michaels because I could feel Al Michaels was trying at some points to be like, hey, like, oh, but the Eagle, and then Chris Collinsworth was like, fuck you, pull it back. But Tom Brady, oh, sweet God Almighty!
I know, like
he's texting Bill Belichick. I'm so sorry for your loss. We tried to convince the viewers.
Yeah. Like what? Shut up, dude. I hate all this pandering. That's all it was just a bunch of pandering.
Oh, dude, it was unbelievable.
Has anybody seen him?
You can. I can smell Tom Brady's dick on Collinsworth's coming off his breath through my television screen. I'm like, holy shit, is that Brady cock you got going on there? Like coming through the television screen? Unbelievable, bro. Like it was getting annoying to my friends and I were all sending text messages back to each other like this is unbelievable. Like good God. And I don't tweet or do anything like that. I'm not big on all that, so all my vicious stuff goes between me and my friends.
Yeah, dude. It also keeps you with some material as well.
It was lethal.
It's probably smart not to do that,
Nah.
Nowadays, everything you say and do can be held against you, 30 years from now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, I'm never gonna work with Natalie Portman for what I said 5 minutes ago. Game over. Who cares? I don't care. Star Wars is like jumped the star shark a while ago for me. So
I don't know. I wasn't that excited about the Solo movie. It just the trailer.
So
I'm just like,
we had a young Han Solo. It was the first three. Like we don't need. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Dude, here, let's talk Star Wars for a second. Let me tell you how they've made Star Wars. Okay, now look, dude, I saw the original Star Wars in a theater, man. Like I was a kid, man, mind blown away, unbelievable. Of course, like Empire Strikes Back is like the best.
It is. I'm with you 100%.
Yep.
And I really wasn't upset with the other three that came out because I also realized I'm an adult now. I'm not going to be able to enjoy it the way I enjoyed the first three. And I watched my nephews just lose their minds over it. So I was like, okay, whatever, you know. But these last two, garbage. I would get so mad at these. Like, first of all, The Force Awakens?
Yeah.
My biggest problem with The Force Awakens is you weren't allowed to say anything bad about it, or you were just you were against women, or you were like crampy, or this is that. Like, first of all, let me explain something let me break down that movie for you for a second. All right. So in The Force Awakens, all right, here's my biggest problem with it. You have this girl who just for some reason just has the Force, like, and knows how to use it, but never had any information. All right, so there's her. But in that movie, that Poe Daniels or whatever, the pilot guy.
Poe Dameron, yeah.
Yeah. So the Finn character, all right, he's the first stormtrooper ever to take his helmet off. We've never seen a stormtrooper take his helmet off, right? And before that movie, stormtroopers were always clones.
Correct.
Right? They were all they were clones. Clones Wars. This, that, and I think it was Boba Fett or his father, right?
Yep.
That's who it was based on. So they were always shooting clones. So they were always just idiot clones or whatever. But now in this movie, it's established that they're actually humans. And what Finn says to Rey is that he was taken from his family as a young man. He was taken from his family. So he was enslaved and forced to become a stormtrooper. So that's what stormtroopers are now. They're young, from what I know, young African-American men who are taken from their families and enslaved to fight. Okay? Cut to near the end of the movie where the good guys, Princess Leia and everybody, have zero problem blowing up an entire planet full of what I know as young black kids taken from their families. The movie should have been trying to free them.
That is way deeper than I.
No. That's a good point.
Okay,
that's
now
a good
look,
point.
here's
Keep
the other
going.
thing.
I like this. Keep going. Go.
This revelation, like,
Yeah,
oh,
not
shit.
even him. Listen, not even him. Not even Finn. Finn didn't even go, hey, I got a couple friends in here I want to tip off to get off this damn planet before we wipe them out. He didn't even say that. But to make it
He's
even
like, fuck them.
Yeah, to make it even more horribly racist, let's cut to the beginning of the movie when Finn breaks out that Poe Daniels guy, puts him in a TIE fighter. They get free for about 2 minutes, and that guy goes, "Hey, what's your name?" And he goes, "I don't have a name. I have a number, Fin." And that guy goes, "I'll call you Finn." This poor kid's been free for 2 minutes, and this cracker gives him a name.
Shit. See, my biggest problem with the movie was, like, I liked the direction, except it was a repeat. It literally was
it was beat for beat.
A repeat.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was beat for beat, except for it was incredibly racist because they were trying to be
the now racist undertones that have become like.
They were trying to be. Dude, they were trying to be so pro-woman that they totally were awful. Now, I'm not done yet. Look, so now they land on the planet, okay? Now they land on a planet. Poe Daniels is gone, right? This guy takes his jacket, and he's never seen this girl or that droid, right? And he just happens to be in town, and the droid sees him wearing the rebel jacket and just assumes he stole it. And so did she, that little race. And she belts him in the face. Oh, he's a black guy with the same jacket. Had to steal it. And chases him down and wipes him out. Right? So, all right, that's number two. And then number three is when they're in the Millennium Falcon and she's down working on something. Now she's down there working on something, and he looks at the droid, right? And he's trying to hide that he's actually a stormtrooper. And he looks at the droid and he goes, "Droid, please." Now that pissed me off for two things. One, you don't talk like that in Star Wars world. Like that's, and two, we know what he meant, but that movie wasn't written by Ice-T.
It was written by J.J. Abrams. That's a good point. I love it.
Okay, so like when everybody's all like, I'm like, dude, that movie was awful to the African American community, awful. So then you cut to this next movie, and I was like, okay, maybe they'll do something better. And I'm just like, oh, they're running out of gas? There's gas in these things? Has there ever been gas? I thought they ran on like light or something. Like it was the slowest chase I've ever sat through in my life. Like, oh my god, it was awful.
And then
It's like you're waiting for them to find a recharging station, like they're like big ass Priuses or something.
Well, no, yeah, exactly. No, what was funnier is when they're in that one of the final battles, and the guy sticks his finger in the dirt and tastes it, and he goes, salt.
I'm like, creepy dude just takes a taste of it. He just licks a planet.
Yeah, he's like,
what is that?
Salt. There's salt in Star Wars. That's another point. There's salt in Star Wars.
You guys have been in the field. Yeah. Can you imagine being in the field with some guy, and all of a sudden he just like sticks his finger in the ground?
Fuck that.
No, that's the first. That's when I'm talking to my first star. Hey, we need to get this guy out.
Yeah, I never did that in Iraq when I was there, or Africa when I was there. Never even thought about sticking my fingers in any of that shit.
He's tasting dirt.
Dude, here's the other thing that pissed me off about that movie. How do you go to a big gambling city and no Lando cameo? What are you, out of your mind?
Yeah, exactly.
I 100% agree with you on that. I may not a lot of these things because I actually like apart from a lot of my friends, I really did like the last Star Wars. But was like the whole time I'm sitting there looking at my friend going, okay, Lando's going to be here. Lando's got to be here. Like an old crusty Lando's got to be here.
He's got to be.
And there wasn't. I'm like, come on,
because he's
how you going to ruin a perfect opportunity?
Yeah, he's a swindler and a gambler, and he
should be owning that place.
Exactly.
I was like waiting for him to be like, he's the boss.
Exactly.
And I'm like, aha, that makes sense. But no, nothing.
I'm right there with you. I was just like, where's Lando? And then all of a sudden, like, I don't know, whatever they were riding, those things started flying all over the place. And I was just like
giant llamas.
I got no idea what's going on here. I got no clue. And then they cut back to the slowest. The slowest chase in the history of the world. They're out of range. What? What are you talking about? They're out of range.
Oh man. What pissed me off was that when that one TIE fighter pilot fired instead of Kylo Ren into the fucking bridge of the ship and then blasts Princess Leia out of the fucking. I thought that was it. I was like, it was a fitting tribute because she's dead because it made her look all fucking graceful and shit. And then she starts floating back to the ship.
No, and I had to explain. So there is some canon that actually has her being a Force user and stuff like that. And, but even with that in mind, I still thought that was pretty like, I'm pretty sure Darth Vader could even do that. And I agreed. I thought she was done. Like that was how we were gonna let her go. And I thought that whole like that look she gave, was so meaningful. I was fully like prepared to accept the fact that Princess Leia was no longer here.
Yes.
And then the Force pull thing, and I'm like,
okay, now it's campy. Now it looked fucking campy.
But here's the other thing: you have an opportunity to put Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Chewbacca, and Princess Leia all in the same room, and you never did it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's all we wanted. We want a little banter back and forth.
Yep, exactly.
Just a scene where everyone's
call
back
somebody
together.
a nerf herder. That's just
exactly.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And if you're gonna give us you're gonna give us the same exact movie, beat to beat, where we all know, like, if first of all, the idea that Han Solo got punked by his stupid freaking emo son made me almost throw up in my mouth because I'm like, you see it coming a million miles away. Like, I was in a theater and people were like, oh, I wanted to go by and slap everybody individually. Like, I'm like, how did you not know this was going to happen, you fucking morons?
See, I'm waiting for the next movie too, because I don't think that it just happened. I literally think that somehow he broke his like normal scruffy character and he actually killed himself. Like I kind of, I don't know. Maybe I'm hoping like Jedi like thinking into somebody's head going, come on, this is a better way for him to go than just like, I'm gonna hug my son and then I'm just gonna let him just like kill the shit out of me.
I'll be honest with you, it did lose its fire. And then they had those Harambe walkers shooting at Luke, and that was it. That I was like, I'll be honest with you, Rogue One was probably the better newer Star Wars movie.
Absolutely, everybody died at the end. It was awesome.
Yep, and
I you know what? I 100% I like Force Awakens, other than the fact that now it's completely racist. And the fact that
I'll tell people that I'll be like people will be like, PJ has this freaking amazing Star Wars theory, and I'm like, do you really enjoy it? They're like, yeah. I go, well, then I probably don't want to tell you.
If you start seeing in some forums, I promise I will attribute to you. But damn.
Oh no, it's me. It's ground zero of that.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm gonna watch Force Awakens tomorrow.
I say it, people are like, oh my god. I'm like, that's the PJ one Force Awakens racist theory.
Yeah.
It really is, and then it's that. And then I didn't like the fact that it literally was it felt like a shot for shot remake of New Hope.
Totally shot for shot.
I did like Last Jedi, even though no, it wasn't. I don't think the critics were like, oh, it's like the best thing since sliced bread. I don't think it. I really enjoyed it. I like the direction they're going in. It's because they're like, fuck it, we're changing everything. But other than some of the stupid things we talked about, but Rogue One was the best.
Yeah, the best
Not
one.
only was it a great bridge between 3 and 4, it was also, it was the first movie to really go, we're not all going to have a happy ending. Like, there is no, we're just going to escape, or something magical is going to happen, or Luke fucking Skywalker is going to force project his ass out here. It was, we did our mission, we sacrificed ourselves for the good of the cause and all that shit,
and Vader,
now we're going to die.
And Vader is going to fuck you up. That's what I like.
Oh my God, Vader killing everyone was the most savage shit. That's like the best movie scene in all of Star Wars.
It is.
You know what made
thing
that
right there.
better? I loved that movie. I thought it was great, but I think that scene would have been even better if they didn't have that one scene where Vader showed up to talk to that one guy in the middle of the movie. If they would have taken that out, and then it all led up to that scene, and you just saw that red lightsaber go.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
Yep.
Like I was.
Yep, that would have been good.
The fact that he talked to him, because it kind of showed the guy's ambition to, like, hey, will you tell the Emperor? And he chokes his ass out. But that totally would have been very acceptable for the fact that just like red lightsabers, like, oh shit, here
And
we
he just
go.
starts killing everybody,
Yep.
dude. Like, that was so damn good. And like, this, I'll tell you, who gets treated absolutely the worst in Star Wars? Chewie. He's been in almost every single one. In all like 3, he has a presence in all of them. He's the only, like, you know what I mean? And and like, his best friend dies, and Princess Leia doesn't even hug him. She walked right past him, hugs that girl she's never met before, and he doesn't even get the keys to Millennium Falcon. It's like, oh no, you can have this too.
It's his fucking ship,
dude.
It's his fucking ship.
His best friend just died.
Yeah.
Like, he watched his best friend get zapped through the heart with the lightsaber, and you're just like, fuck you, you big furry rug.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just take your ride here. Thank you very much, and then we'll be out of here.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where they pushed the whole entire. You couldn't question anything. Like, that girl, for some reason, she just knew how to use the Jedi mind trick. She never knew what the Force was, or knew but she just happened to know how to do it. She knows how to fly the Millennium Falcon. She knows how to use a lightsaber. Like, just the most gifted person who's never been around any of this in the history of the world. I was just like, come on.
That was the weirdest part of the first one, or of the Force Awakens, was the fact that, and then the last one, she did a little bit of training with Luke, for all of 4 days and shit. And all of a sudden, like, I won't lie, that whole like lightsaber battle with Kylo Ren was pretty badass. But then I'm like, okay. And then she showed like a little bit of skill with her stick. But I'm like, where did she learn to be like what do you call Obi-Wan Kenobi badass? Like, where is this shit like in the Revenge of the Sith, where they're doing that whole like lava battle and shit, and all of a sudden she knows how to be as badass. I didn't buy it. And
when Kylo Ren first showed up, when he stopped that freaking laser coming at him, I was just like, oh shit, this dude's at a whole other level.
Yeah, exactly.
It was pretty bad. And then he started talking.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, like, she got the best of him. I'm like, well, that shouldn't have, like, because I was just like, oh man, this guy's gonna be unbelievable. I've never seen that. He just stopped the phaser, just stopped that shit, and then all of a sudden it was just like, oh, he's just crying and whining, and
this is what happens when emos get into Star Wars.
Yeah, and I feel bad too, because that guy was a Marine and he does a lot of great stuff, and I'm just
he's a complete. He does a lot. He's got this whole campaign to try to. We're still trying to get him on the show. So if you know him, we can get a hold.
Yeah, tell him to get on here.
Out, but complete badass. But I felt bad because he had to pay like this douchey. If there ever was an emo in Star Wars who's got force powers. Here we go. We have fucking Kylo Ren.
No.
Although it was pretty dope when he freaking sliced old boy in half this time. I'll say that was awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, they brought him back on that one when he freaking he that guy thought he was in his head, but he had him the whole time. I thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah, that was pretty
cool. People are all mad, like, oh, they didn't explore his backstory. I'm like, I didn't care.
Nah, dude looked like Hamburger Helper. Who gives a shit?
I'm like, I'm okay with not knowing why this guy's a bad guy. There's so many bad guys in this giant galaxy and universe and shit. Who the fuck cares? I like the fact that he's like, slice.
Yeah, I also
no
know
long-winded death, just
I
die.
know that you're a Star Wars dork because you used the word canon a little while ago. Every time someone breaks out the word canon, I'm like, oh, here we go. Well, you know, in the canon.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. It wasn't until I was for Atlantic Resolve, the first one. I was in Poland, Latvia, Lithuania, and my PAO at the time was a huge, like, I could say canon and refer to a couple of different things. He could tell you which page in each book you could find specific reference. It was pretty crazy. So he turned me on to a couple books which are pretty cool because they help kind of bridge the gap and make it a little bit cooler. But I'm looking for maybe this. And I keep telling them, like, there's another movie. Maybe they'll close some of those loops that you're all like everyone's freaking out about or whatnot. But Solo didn't have me hyped like Rogue One did. When I saw Rogue One, I was hyped.
Yeah, Rogue
this
one.
one, I'm just like,
Well,
cool.
it's one of those
Solo.
It's one of those kind of characters where you're just like, why are you even trying? Because no one's gonna really. I mean, people are gonna see it at a jump, but you're kind of like, ugh, dude, like that's such an iconic character. That you're like, dude, why would you even try?
You're right.
And he's really not to me, he's not. It's like when they tried making, like they had Despicable Me, and then they pushed the Minions movie. I don't see Han. I see Han Solo as a great. He's in there. He's like your secondary, main character. But to me, he never was like the main character. He was great at what Han Solo was, and him pushing a young Solo. It's almost like I don't really care about the Boba Fett movie they want to make too. Like,
no, that's why Joey Tribbiani's show never worked out of Friends.
Yeah.
It's like, no, a little bit made it work. We'd never want to watch Kramer through a whole entire show. It's like he comes through the door, he rocks, and he leaves.
Exactly.
And that's what made that character awesome. And but also this fact that it's such iconic. It'd be like almost. It's like, okay, let's say Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man ends, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're gonna bring somebody else in like 5 years. You're like, don't do that yet.
I feel the same way about Chris Evans because I'm a big Captain America fan.
Oh, dude, he's perfect.
Yeah.
Don't even.
It's like if Cap. I mean, I have a Captain America tattoo and everything. Like, Cap's my boy, and the fact that he after Infinity Wars, there's definitely more likely he's leaning towards not playing the character anymore. Which I'm okay with a break from the character, but not like come back, buddy. Come. If anyone else picked up being Captain America as Rogers. I couldn't I'd go and see it like 4 weeks after it premiered, but
the way that to me that arc and Marvel is completely different. All what they're doing is amazing, and the Captain America the trilogy, that arc is the best trilogy arc. I think the first one was like it set the tone, it was okay. Freaking the middle one was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one was done really, really well. But to see his character arc it was so freaking awesome. And like one of my like favorite, and he doesn't get enough credit for how much depth he has, because in what was the middle one called? It was the
Winter Soldier and then Civil War.
Yes, Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier was badass.
Dude, Winter Soldier was unbelievable. But when he realizes, when we, the audience, realized that she has Alzheimer's, and when she
feels. Oh my god!
Yeah. Oh my god!
My wife was watching me tear up.
I know.
Oh
like, oh god!
His face, his recognition.
He said, "I gotta dance with my best girl." I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Dude, when he realizes that she fell back into that, and you see the pain in his face, I was just like, you don't get that kind of depth in a lot of these comic book movies, and I was like, this guy's just freaking crushing it, man. Because that was just like, damn, he's good. He doesn't get enough credit because they're comic book movies.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm curious to see how Black Panther's going to turn out.
Oh, I think that's going to be.
It's going to be pretty awesome. It was funny. One, I had to remind people, if you think I'm a Star Wars, man, I have some of these original like Captain America and Infinity War comic books, read the Civil War and everything. And I've had dumbass people like, oh yeah, they made the Black Panther I'm like, dude, they made Black Panther in 1966. I said, I can tell you where.
Yeah,
I can tell you
exactly.
like people, I love Black Panther. Like he's a badass. Like that whole comic book series, he's a complete, like his whole culture and everything. They're all a bunch of badasses.
Yep.
But you know, it's the whole, now it's been a little weird. Like they have that one secondary character is like she's the smartest person in Marvel Comics. I went, Reed Richards might argue against that, or a lot of other people. But sure, why not? We'll go with that since the movie's coming out soon.
Well, I got to do that to do the selling, but I think it's in good hands. I mean, the guy who directed it is the guy who did Creed, and Creed was unbelievable.
Yes.
I'm a huge Rocky fan, and I was just blown away by Creed. Loved it.
Yeah.
So I was like, this guy is so talented, and he's so like he has real passion for the work, and I think it's just going to be freaking out.
The movie looks pretty badass. I'm ready to. Like I already told my wife, said we're gonna go see it. I don't care. I said that it's gonna be a pretty badass movie, and it's set to break. It's set to be within the top 5 so far of Marvel movies, which is pretty. You know, I gotta say, Captain America's have been pretty. You know, the ones that are up there, because for some reason they just do Captain America so damn well. But I love the Infinity Wars, the latest Infinity Wars trailer they had.
Yes.
In the Super Bowl.
Yes.
I won't lie, nearly wet my pants. I'm just like, oh. And I had to explain to my wife. She's like, why does Captain America look like that? I'm like, he's not Captain America anymore. He's the Nomad.
Yep.
And then I explained the whole reason why he's the Nomad. She goes, you need to get a life. I was like, I'm married to you. You're okay.
Well, that's what made his arc so great. I mean, in the beginning, he was a puppet. In the middle, he started realizing like whatever's going, and at the end of the third one, he drops the shield. It's like the greatest arc. But look, I got to tell you this. Now, I said this since you watched the trailers. What did you think of Skyscraper? Come on.
No.
No.
You said something that I had to put myself on mute because I chuckled. It is another. It's Die Hard with the missing limb.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what's with The Rock doing all these. Like, I'm just gonna do one-worded movie titles because he's got Rampage coming out, which I think looks awesome.
God. Do you think that looks awesome? Oh,
I think it looks awesome.
Of course, there's an alligator. Dude, when that trailer opened up and he's like, what can I say? Animals get me. I was just like, oh my God.
Dwayne Johnson in the laundry room.
Because I used to rock the shit out of that game, arcade game.
If you like the game, yeah, I get
it. But I'm like, even my dad was like, oh, that looks awesome. But then I saw Skyscraper. I'm like, oh, he's missing a leg. And then all of a sudden it was Die Hard as The Rock. I went, is somebody named Hans Gruber in here? Like,
yeah, exactly.
But then all of a sudden, somehow, like he's running and there's the big jump, and then he's hanging. Like all of a sudden, the rope is around the leg, and I'm like, oh.
And then it does the thing where it slips.
Off.
I'm like,
oh
why not? Why not? Lose your.
I'll tell you what, though. I'll say this. I couldn't believe this, but I watched the Mission Impossible Fallout trailer. I'm like, this shit looks for real, man.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise's Mission Impossibles are like action packed. I'm like,
ever since
really
the second Mission Impossible, they've been. I mean, the first one was,
no, the third one. I thought it was
awesome. The second one was like, but and then when they came, I remember when they came up third when I was a kid, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then they've been like hitting. But did you see how Tom Cruise broke his ankle doing one of his stunts?
Yes.
Oh my God! I showed my wife as torture. Just that the angle that his ankle and his foot went.
And he got up and still ran. He got up and still ran after he broke his foot.
Yeah, he did it again, dude.
Pure adrenaline and Scientology.
He held on to the side of a plane on the last one, for real.
Yes.
No special effects. He was on the side of a plane when I went up. I'm just like, well, dude, you've earned my movie ticket for real.
For a short man, that man does he does majority of his own stunts, and people don't give him enough credit. I mean, granted, Tom Cruise is a crazy son of a bitch, but he does his own stunts. And his stunts, like the one where, yes, he was tied. If you saw the behind the scenes, he had the lines tied to the damn plane. But you're still on the outside of a fucking plane as it's taking off. I'm sorry, I don't even want to be airborne, let alone airborne as an army, let alone want to be on the side of a fucking plane.
What's wrong with
Dude,
what's wrong with being airborne?
A bird turd to the head would leave you with TBI. Do you know what I mean? like, so people need to know, like, that's unbelievable. And yeah, is he out there? Is he crazy? Yeah, but I don't think he ever pretends not to be. Like, when people bash him, I'm like, that dude's a movie star. That guy makes great movies.
The man is who he is. I mean, you can never fault him for being fake. He may be crazy, wacky, whatever, but he's exactly who, he portrays to be. He is a badass. I mean, he may not be like The Rock, but shit, he does all his own stunts, and his stunts aren't like, oh, I'm going to be in a fight scene like Jackie Chan, or I'm going to jump from one building to another. He's like, nah, strap me to a plane. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I know, it's insane.
And I want you to take off at normal takeoff altitude. That plane took off with him attached to it like it was going to fly 30,000 feet. It wasn't like it was just flying around just willy-nilly. It was literally fucking taking off.
Well, that's what made me laugh when I was watching Skyscraper, and then all of a sudden he's like jumping and trying to get in the thing. I'm like, yeah, but Tom Cruise did that on the building in Dubai, but he really did it. So
yeah, exactly.
Like I was watching that, and I'm like, nah, Tom Cruise really did it.
Yeah, Tom Cruise. Yeah, Tom Cruise is only 5'1", and he's really doing these shits. You know what I mean?
I know that it's absolutely crazy, but I don't know. To me, I'm at this point where I'm like, well, I can't believe I'm not gonna go watch the Rock movies. Just kind of like they're just, I don't know, like, to me. But if you ask me, when I watched all those trailers, Infinity War and Mission Impossible are definitely the ones that I'm gonna go see.
Yeah, they are. I'm like, if you take my money. I know Infinity Wars. I'm gonna see, like I did for Civil War. I'm gonna see a couple of times in the theater. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I'm going to drool over it. It's going to be awesome. And then in Mission Impossible, I will see it in theater, let alone granted I'm not in some other country or some shit like that, but I'm seeing those two in theater, and along with Black Panther. I mean, that's a given. That's a Marvel. It's going to be a Marvel awesomeness. But then the rest of them, it's just like, I'm good.
I'm writing the script right now of the next Star Wars movie to complete this trilogy, and it's going to be the one where Black Panther goes to a galaxy far, far away and fixes all those racist assholes.
Well, that's actually the descendant of Lando. You know what I mean? That's Lando's.
He finds Lando.
Yeah.
I will say that casting Donald Glover as Lando is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
like I love his music's pretty badass. His show Atlanta is pretty badass. So I'll watch it. I don't know much about the kid playing Solo. I'm a little like okay. But he kind of doesn't come off as like the suave that you Han Solo. You can even in his older age showed, and I'm kind of like, I don't know. The guy looked a little dorky to me. So hopefully.
Yeah, he looked like, I don't know. Yeah, they're trying to give him the old 70s hair, just out of place. That whole feathered way it was back in the day.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, I don't know if that really works today. And it just really looks out of place. But I don't know. Like I said, Han Solo is like such an iconic character. I'm just like, why that one when you could do like so many other things? But it's Disney. They promised a movie every single year, so every year we're gonna get all these like different new ones, and it's gonna be so watered down that again, it's not gonna be eventful. It's just kind of like, oh, Memorial Day, another Star Wars movie. All right.
Well, as long as this this movie called Ready Player One. I read this book. I've read this book in not Afghanistan. I read the book in Korea, NTC. Like everywhere I go, I bring this book with me. The movie looks pretty badass. It's the only if you haven't seen the trailers, the last one was a little weird, but the rest are pretty badass. I'd go see that in theater. It's gonna be awesome.
Spielberg, right? Spielberg.
Yeah.
And the majority of the book is like Spielberg movies or Rush. It's like it's pretty like it's all 80s and it's pretty fucking awesome. Cool. So I'm super excited about the movie because Spielberg it not only has a hand in it, but he's like I think he's directing it too. So it should be pretty good. There's a lot of good movies coming out.
Oh yeah, I think there's a lot.
Hopefully, there's not a lot of undertone racist movies that I have to like now be like, damn it! You ruined that movie for me.
I know,
and I'm gonna tell my family when I'm like, yeah, this movie's racist. Yeah. They're all black people. We're killing them all. Great. We blew up a whole bunch of black people. Congratulations, white people.
I can't even bring that up on stage because it bums everybody out so much. Every time I've done it on stage, if it's a bunch of white people and there's like like 4 or 5 like black couples or whatever, everyone's so uncomfortable except for the black couples, and they're just like, "You're right,
you're right."
And everyone
protest.
else because everyone else is kind of like, "Oh, I got that DVD."
I'm gonna watch it tomorrow.
Yeah, I've had people like be like, "That ain't how it is." I'm like, "Well, that's how I walked away." But it's such a like bummer to people when they're like, "Oh my god," it's such a harsh realization that I'm like, "Oh, this isn't really good for like stand-up stage."
Well, even the Death Star and all the ships are all white.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. God, see, yeah.
And
they're pointed.
Even in the last one, the plasma woman, like when they smashed her face, she was like a freaking blonde-haired white woman. So the leader is who's keeping them all in check is some freaking, blue-eyed blonde freaking, because when they have them all lined up, it's so like it's so freaking Nazi.
Oh my
like you
God,
can tell,
it
like
is.
the guy. Well, that's
It
the other
is.
thing about the first movie when he calls up and he's like, "Can I speak to so and so?" Oh, he's not here right now. I'm like, oh, really? They have answer machines and call services in a galaxy far, far away. Like I was totally thrown like that whole joke to me. I'm like, what? What are you doing? Right? You're calling him? Oh, he's on hold. And like, I'm like, what is this right now? Like that whole exchange was like so dumb to me. It was such an old joke, and to put it there, and I'm just like, no one's ever talked like that, like ever in any of these movies. That's the two things that got me. That like they're gonna start making phone calls of it, and the other one where all of a sudden there's gas for some reason. Like those two things, I'm like, you're just gonna plop those in after like 9 movies.
And don't forget salt and salt too. There's salt. There's also salt in Star Wars.
Yeah, and the salt
And the ice foxes. Don't forget about those.
Yeah, the crystal foxes.
My wife's favorite part of the movie was the damn ice fox, because she said, "Can we get an ice fox?" And I'm like, "You do know this is a movie." She's like, "I don't care." She said, "We'll just get a fox and paint it white." I'm like, I don't think it works that way, but okay, crazy lady.
Yeah. And then also the projecting your image across the universe. That was a pretty tough one too. Like
even going back to the canon, that was still a little like, oh, we're doing that now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's new. But they did say he's supposed to be like, his time in solitude, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I'll wait for the third movie to see how we're gonna tie up some of these plot holes, and then I'll get pissy.
J.J. Abrams is doing the third one, so
thank God, because I just think even with the racist undertones and the pretty much remake, I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm gonna now talk about this tomorrow. Besides the racist undertones and the complete remake of New Hope that it was, yeah, I think it was a better looking movie than Last Jedi. And I like Last Jedi, other than Luke Skywalker milking that giant sea beast. That was a little weird.
Oh, God, yeah.
My man's
made
been
me uncomfortable.
My man's been
drinking
lonely.
that weird milk, but he just walked up to like, "Heads up, Charlie," and just starts yanking on this guy. And I'm like, what? I was sitting there going, I know I've been drinking in this movie theater, but damn.
You know what I thought to myself as soon as that happened? I was like, oh, he's in prison.
Luke Skywalker's in prison by these big old beasts.
Yeah, my man's playing by prison rules right now.
Hey, what's up, Charlie? No, I'm here. I got you.
No, I've got you, man. You go eat your cornbread. You go eat your cornbread. Give me some of that milk.
Oh.
Yeah, how's that for trying to show the positive way to a strong female character? Let me get down here and suck on this thing. All right, this is how you get the Force. Like, this is the worst message ever.
I love it.
Yeah.
So my wife, you want the Force, baby? Come see me later.
Hashtag Luke Skywalker, Me Too movement. Like, right there. That was his moment right there. That's his story. Good.
Oh, my God, PJ, we got to go, man.
You guys are the best, man. Thanks for having me on.
No, thank you for coming on, man. This has been fucking awesome, dude. We've never had a guest hang out this long, and just, dude, my sides are fucking hurting right now. But
awesome. My mind has been blown, and I'm gonna cry a little bit later. But you've been awesome, PJ.
You need to come back on, man. Give us a status on what's going on. All right, big man.
Absolutely, man. You guys be well.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one.
All right.
Yep. Wow.
I'm serious. Like I'm like now rethinking my life because of that,
no way,
that theory of Star Wars.
He just like totally. I'm gonna watch the movie tomorrow, and I'm gonna sit down and freaking go. You know what? That's kind of when he said "droid, please," and I'm like,
I didn't pick that up.
I was
feel feel stupid now because
Yeah.
I'm like, why didn't I pick up that simple, obvious, culture reference? Yet I was just like, I don't know, maybe I'm just fanboying it a little. That's probably why.
Yeah,
I was just like, fuck it.
Yeah. So that was PJ Walsh, U.S. Navy veteran, stand-up comedian. Oh God, you could tell this he wanted to stay on. That's what I'm talking about. It's been over 20 overseas tours. Came back to talk to us about.
I want to have a beer with that
exploits.
guy.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man. Talking about his
Hey,
exploits in
PJ,
Afghanistan.
if you're ever in VA, you hit up the station. I'll buy you. Shit, I'll buy you a bottle.
Dude, he just said he's in Virginia Beach. He said he's in Virginia Beach.
Oh, that's right, he is. Dude, make your way a little further away from the coast. Come up to DC.
Oh man. So, holy shit. God, he was awesome.
That was good stuff.
That was some good shit. So, anyways, what were you saying, Spurs? You said you couldn't nerd out with us. Is that what you got? Some nerd?
Well, I was trying to keep up. With my kids, I've got a little bit of the Marvel, and I grew up watching the old Star Wars, but I just have not been able to really get into the new Star Wars. And I've gone and watched every single one of them, but not multiple times to really get the in-depth story. And so, I mean, with this last one, I took my wife and my kids, and we went and watched it, and all I thought, which was the same thought as my wife, was they're just starting all over again. It's taken what, 7, 8 movies, and they're just starting all over at the beginning again.
Yeah, I like the I like more of the anthology films. Like I'm telling you, Rogue One, probably next to the. Now, if I was rating them as my reaction would go, it would be Rogue One, and then Episode 4, and then Empire Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because. Yeah, like PJ was saying. PJ said that he saw it in the theater. I saw Star Wars in the theater too, like the original one, where holy shit, the sound.
He babysitted George Lucas.
the sound and the fucking, just whoa, was just incredible. You know what I mean? Just something like that I've never seen before. Now, didn't the graphics for the Solo movie look cartoony?
Mm-hmm.
Then to me, it looked like it was cartoony. It was. These guys need to go back to the practical effects. I'm not saying they need to go back to doing just straight models where it looks all hokey, but God, man, they were triggering Pookie because Pookie's losing his shit. Now he's like,
It's okay. It's all right, Pookie. I feel for you.
we deconstructed.
My world has been kind of shocked a little bit here.
We deconstructed his shit. So, damn. He took us right over to the edge of house cleaning.
Well, let's house clean then.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. So tomorrow at the taco truck is going to be Terry and Peter Esquire. I think it's only is it just Terry going to be on tomorrow?
I was told both.
Both of them are going to be on.
No, Peter had to cancel.
Aww.
Okay, so
but Terry will be on.
Yeah, so Terry's a registered nerd who helped nerd. God damn it! I'm sorry, Terry. You're not a nerd.
That would be me.
I'm about to say. I was just thinking because I was going to call you a nerd, but it was one of those. It was an epithet that was just hanging out there. So,
Tongue got tied.
Tongue got tied. So Terry is a registered nurse who helps service members with severe traumatic injuries to attain TSGLI. For what you guys don't know, that if you are hospitalized for up to a certain period of time, you actually get some money that nobody knows about. So, like if you were
really,
So if you've been injured and you file a claim, like you filed it right fucking now and you've been hospitalized for a certain period of time, you actually get money. Nobody knows about it. So she'll be able to come on and tell the process on there. That sucks because Peter, he was going to provide the legal aspects of it, but so that night for Tied Up Tuesday, we got Kate Minion. She was in the Marine Corps from 2008 2012 and was one of the first female engagement teams. She'll be able to come on and tell us what it's all about. And she even said that she deployed to Afghanistan and crapped her pants. She really wanted to say that. I just can't believe she wanted us to say that. She crapped her pants. But she's also been on the Veteran Immersion Program at The Daily Show with Jon Stewart and is now a contributor for the military satire site, The Duffel Blog. We all love The Duffel Blog. NASCAR driver Jesse Iwuji. Iwuji's coming back. Sergeant's time. He's going to tell us what's going on. He's a commissioned surface warfare officer in the Navy. Jesse
and a
Wu-
badass.
And a badass, yeah. Jesse Wuji is the first active duty NASCAR driver. He was on here about a year ago, and started talking about his stock car stuff in the K&N Pro Series West, and he's got a big race coming up, so he'll be able to come on and shoot the shit about it. Can't wait to talk to him again. It's been a while. Next Tuesday, we're going to have Carl Forsling from Task and Purpose. Carl Forsling is a senior columnist for Task and Purpose, and he was also a Marine MV-22 Osprey pilot and a former CH-46 Sea Knight pilot who retired from the military after 20 years of service. He is the father of 2 children, a graduate of Boston University, and the Wharton School of University in Pennsylvania. Yes. Task and Purpose was launched in 2014 to provide authentic and unfiltered perspectives on military and veteran issues in the post-9/11 era. Man, that's some great guy. You're not lying. Our shit's starting to get stacked up there, front desk. That's good shit. Don't forget we got our partners, War Horses for Veterans, and of course our terrestrial radio partner, the Veterans Report, Jim Cannon and crew. Oh man, I can't wait. I wonder what his reaction, because he was in because it's in Pittsburgh, PA there, for the Super Bowl, and I wonder. I saw his Facebook post about there was a fan, I guess, who ate horse shit.
Yes, I did see that.
I was just
I mean, granted, I will give up the fact that Philly hasn't won ever. I mean, the Redskins have won more. That's kind of saying something. So some fans are more than welcome to go a little crazy, be a little. Some guy apparently ate horse manure in celebration. Now I didn't see the details whether this was a bet or maybe he's just a big horse manure fanatic or whatever. But on a video that I couldn't stand to watch, so I didn't. The guy actually eats horse manure and doesn't just like put it in his mouth for a second, like chomps on it. Oh god, kids don't eat horse manure. Like, I know it goes without saying, like Tide Pods, but hey, apparently we have to tell people, like Nancy Pelosi during the State of the Union address. Whatever, no worries.
And I got a grounding for that.
Yeah, I know.
Which is weird because I've posted worse on all of our social media pages at WTF Nation Radio on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Mixer. I mean, we're everywhere. Don't forget, you want to listen to this podcast again with our boy PJ Walsh, you can go on to WTFNationRadio.com and download the podcast. We also post those on Facebook and on Twitter. So if you don't want to go there and you want to just go to Twitter and, and send me a little tweet or whatnot, you can actually find that podcast and download it and re-listen to all the heartbreaking Star Wars, like, bah. I'm serious. Like, that act, like, I'm not even playing or even playing a part. Like, that's, like, seriously fucking me up right now. It's like I'm seriously having like life. Like, was my life a sham?
Your whole life's been a sham.
My whole life is just like it's been a lie.
Well, I'm gonna watch, like I said, I'm gonna watch The Force Awakens and pick up on this, because as he's talking about it and all that stuff, and I'm remembering in my head, I'm thinking, holy crap, he's kind of right.
Holy crap, I'm a racist. I didn't see it.
No, I mean, it doesn't make you. He's just enlightening you to those hints. You know what I mean? And that's you're like, damn.
Oh no, that's just. At least he liked Captain America. I was gonna have to cut off this interview if he had like racist revelations about Captain America. That was my cutoff line right there. Fucking red line in the sand right there. Nope, get away. You can talk about Iron Man or Thor all you want. You touch Cap, I'm gonna have to cut you.
We got a show every night except for Wednesdays. So and then we have the daytime shows at 12 to 1400 Taco Truck. Today you're listening to Money Edition with me, Ice, and Flayash. We also have our Proby Spurs on here.
Yep.
You're hearing him mostly arguing with KJ on the Taco Truck, and now he's.
You need to argue more. I'd rather hear you talk more and mess with KJ than hear KJ keep going and going. You need to get in there, man. You need to drive him crazy because you're on the edge of like just like he's about to like flip his shit.
Oh my god!
The dip is about to come out of his mouth. And be like he's gonna look at the camera, and start yelling at you. You keep going, brother.
Dude, his last what was it last week? Oh, he had me in fucking stitches, dude. I was like, yeah. You're talking about Gitmo and all this stuff. stuff.
Oh, that was a good I really enjoyed that. I actually watched that at work because I was in charge and there was no one else in the office. It was great.
Yeah, I was at work too, and
that
there
was
nobody.
funny.
Yeah, there was nobody at work. It's the same here. So so we got a show every night. So today, like I said, was the Monday edition with Ice Flash, and of course with Proby Spurs, and then Front Desk Mom. And then Tuesday we got Tied Up Tuesday with Minx and Gray Cloud, and then of course Wednesday is the training holiday or Donza.
Donza Day.
Donza Day. And then you got Thursday, you got Sergeant's Time with myself, and the main page guys with my golf. I'm my Master Gunner. And then Friday is Friday Night Freedom with Minx and the Pooks, and then we have a Saturday Night Savagery with Pookie, and of course the ever savage Dr. Savage Love, Jay Reddy.
Jay Reddy.
If you guys don't want to get savage, you guys want to hear fucking some conspiracy theories, some tinfoil hat stuff that makes you just ask yourself, possibly on the outer realm of the 3D experience, then of course Dr. Savage Love, Jay Reddy will ensure, so saith the Jay Reddy on that day. And then of course the Weed Boys will be back on Sunday for the Green Room. So again,
smoke weed every day.
DDT 14. Always a pleasure to have you guys join us, fans in Mixer, fans in Facebook, fans in YouTube. Always listen to us also on anything that's got a WTF Nation Radio / you can for WTFNationRadio.com, WTF Nation Facebook / WTFNR, Instagram.com / WTF Nation Radio, Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. You got anything you want to shoot the shit about? Hit the contact us and say, hey, I want Minx to play this, or I want questions. We'll read your shit on the air. Just let us know. Ask the questions. That way we'll look at it, and then I'll ask from a fan. Ask an old guy or something like that, or ask Minx, or ask Flash, or ask Pooks, whatever. Feel free to contact us, and we'll be able to get your shit. There was something else I was going to say. Now I totally forgot. So anyway.
Shots?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Shots. And then y'all have a good night. And, thank you again for coming on. Thank you again, PJ, for coming on. We love you. And then we'll be getting this podcast up tonight, so that way you guys can immediately listen in on it and laugh at us, laugh at each other.
Shots.
Shots. Have a good night. See you.
Well, it definitely is all about the visuals, although pretty sure it's illegal.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
One more I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
Is that actually a picture of the Antichrist crying? I like it. It's tasty.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Good evening, boys and girls. This is Tim Kennedy. I'm a Special Forces sniper, a Ranger qualified Green Beret, a UFC fighter. Please listen to us and the shenanigans that we're going to say. We will insult you. There will be racial slurs. We will be sexist. We will offend you. But there will be magic, and a unicorn will be raped. So enjoy the show. Thank you for listening on WTF Nation Radio.